Chapter 152. Smack. A crisp sound resounded throughout the hall. Master Jiaomu slapped Steward Ma's face, causing him to spin a few rounds on the spot. He coughed up a mouthful of blood, and half of his face was swollen. Steward Ma was instantly stunned. Moss. Master, I didn't disturb your alchemy. It's this little bastard. It's him. Steward Ma's teeth were leaking as he spoke incoherently. He was so anxious that he was about to cry. Smack. Another crisp sound rang out. The other half of Steward Ma's face also swelled up, and a mouthful of teeth flew out along with blood. This time, he was sent flying and slammed into a pillar in the distance, coughing out large mouthfuls of blood. Everyone was dumbfounded. What was going on? Shouldn't Master Jiaomu be tearing this arrogant brat apart in a fit of rage? Why did he beat up Steward Ma? The cultivators and the Grand Master guards of the Elixir Pavilion were all dumbfounded. They didn't know what was going on. Blind dog slave, do you think you can scold young Master Ling? Not to mention that Ling Xiao only broke your limbs, even if he killed you, you only have yourself to blame. Get out of my sight. Don't let me see you. Master Jiaomu looked at Steward Ma with disgust, then immediately looked at Ling Xiao with a fawning smile. Young Master Ling, when did you arrive at the capital? Why didn't you tell me in advance so that I could send someone to pick you up? Everyone was stunned. So this arrogant young man really knew Master Jiaomu. Moreover, seeing Master Jiaomu's respectful attitude made everyone even more shocked and curious about Ling Xiao. Who exactly was this young man? How could Master Jiaomu treat him so fawningly? Even the princes of the Grand Desolation Ancient Kingdom were incomparably respectful when they saw Master Jiaomu. Who in the entire Grand Desolation Ancient Kingdom could make Master Jiaomu put down his pride and fawn over him? Could it be someone from the martial Dao Holy Land? Everyone's hearts trembled, and their gazes toward Ling Xiao changed. They quietly revealed a trace of reverence. Master Jiaomu, I wouldn't dare to order you around. It's too difficult to enter the spiritual medicine hall. I was almost kicked out, let alone meet you. You're really a man of high status with many affairs. Ling Xiao glanced sideways at Master Jiaomu and said indifferently. The sweat on Master Jiaomu's forehead immediately broke out. He cursed Steward Ma's ancestors in his heart. Of all the people this dog could offend, he actually dared to offend Ling Xiao. Right now, he was still a registered disciple. He was just waiting to become an official disciple and receive the true teachings of alchemy from Ling Xiao. Great, now he had offended Ling Xiao before he had even done anything. As a result, Master Jiaomu also hated Steward Ma to the core. On the other hand, Steward Ma, who was lying on the ground and vomiting blood, shuddered all over. His eyes revealed an expression of extreme terror and disbelief. What? That little bastard was actually related to Great Master Jiaomu? And seeing how respectful Great Master Jiaomu was, he knew that their relationship was not trivial. He knew that he was finished. As expected, Great Master Jiaomu turned to look at Steward Ma and scolded him. Ma Feng, who allowed you to act on your own initiative and block young Master Ling outside? Do you know who young Master Ling is? He's one of my elders. You've really eaten a bear's heart and leopard's guts. You really deserve to die. Men, drag him out and beat him to death. Jiaomu's face darkened. He did not show any mercy and was about to order people to beat Steward Ma to death. Li Ling, who came out with him, also looked at Ling Xiao in shock. Who exactly was this young man? How could he make the usually proud Jiaomu behave so humbly? He was also more and more curious about Ling Xiao's identity. Beat him to death. Steward Ma's entire body trembled. His eyes immediately revealed an incomparably terrified expression as he roared, Master Jiaomu, you can't kill me. You can't kill me. My brother-in-law is the deputy pavilion master. If you kill me, my brother-in-law will definitely not let you off. Oh, you actually dare to threaten me? A cold glint flashed across Jiaomu's eyes. He immediately sneered and said, I'm going to kill you today. Let's see who can save you. Why aren't you doing it? Great Master Jiamu glanced at the few Grandmaster guards, and his voice became fierce. The few Guru Realm guards trembled all over. They immediately grabbed Steward Ma and dragged him outside. How could they dare to offend Great Master Jiamu? Great Master Jiamu was now a popular person in the entire capital. Even the state preceptor and spiritual master Chun Yang favored him. The great wilderness king had even summoned him several times and rewarded him with many treasures. In the current spiritual medicine pavilion, even the deputy pavilion masters could not compare to Great Master Jiamu. Ling Shao watched all this coldly and did not stop them. To him, killing Steward Ma was just killing an evil slave. It was no big deal. Many warriors revealed shocked expressions in their eyes. Just one sentence from Ling Shao, and Great Master Jiamu did not give the deputy pavilion master any face and insisted on killing Steward Ma. Who exactly was this young man? They became more and more shocked and confused. Stop! Just as Steward Ma was about to be dragged out, a cold voice rang out. An old man in a black robe with a gloomy expression walked down from upstairs. The old man was very tall and had a very dignified face. There seemed to be a faint cold glint in his eyes, exuding an aura of someone who had been in a high position for a long time. He wore a black robe embroidered with a golden cauldron with 4 golden stars. He was also a low-grade alchemy master. It's Deputy Pavilion Master Chu Kunming. Immediately, someone exclaimed, recognizing the old man's identity. Deputy Pavilion Master Chu Kunming was also a low-grade alchemy master, and his cultivation had reached the peak of the 9th level of the Grandmaster realm. He was a super powerhouse who was half a step into the celestial realm. Chu Kunming's new concubine was Steward Ma's sister. Great Master Jiamu wanted to kill Steward Ma, so Chu Kunming naturally could not stand by and watch. There was a good show to watch now. One was a high-ranking deputy pavilion master, and the other was the popular Great Master Jiamu of the Spiritual Medicine Pavilion. It would be interesting if these two people were to go head-to-head. Jiamu, even if Ma Feng was in the wrong, he doesn't deserve to die, right? He didn't know that this young man was acquainted with you. Moreover, this young man spoke rudely and made a scene in my Spiritual Medicine Pavilion. I won't pursue the matter. I think this matter will end here. Chu Kunming's cold gaze swept across Ling Shao, and finally looked at Great Master Jiamu as he spoke indifferently. As the deputy pavilion master, he naturally knew what was happening below. He did not appear before, but when he saw that Great Master Jiamu wanted to kill Steward Ma, he naturally could not sit still. Brother-in-law, you have to uphold justice for me. That little bastard deserves to die 1,000 times over. You must kill him. Chapter 153. Stop here. Jiao Mu's eyes flashed, and he sneered. Chu Kunming, I'm afraid you don't even know who young Master Ling is to me. Young Master Ling is an elder of mine. Ma Feng dared to insult young Master Ling, which is the same as insulting me. He deserved to be beaten to death by me. So, I advise you to mind your own business. Otherwise, I won't hesitate even if the pavilion master finds out. Jiao Mu, don't go too far. Chu Kunming glared and said slowly. Who's going too far? Ma Feng usually bullies customers, drives up the prices of spiritual herbs and spiritual pills, and even kidnaps women. He's done many things to ruin the reputation of the Spiritual Medicine Pavilion. But of all the things he shouldn't have done, he shouldn't have offended young Master Ling. No one can save him today. He's dead for sure. Jiao Mu said tit for tat, and there was a hint of determination in his eyes. Chu Kunming's face darkened, and he sneered. Good, good, good. Jiao Mu, I'll stay here today. I'd like to see how you're going to kill him. Is that so? Master Jiao Mu's eyes flashed, and he exuded a powerful aura as he walked towards Steward Ma. Although Jiao Mu devoted all his attention to alchemy, he was still a 7th-level grandmaster. At this moment, his cultivation erupted, and he was not inferior to Chu Kunming at all. Boom! A powerful shockwave swept out, but Chu Kunming and Master Jiao Mu knew that this was the spiritual medicine pavilion, so they restrained themselves. Although they were confronting each other, their auras were restrained to 3 feet around them. Otherwise, if they completely erupted, the spiritual pills and spiritual herbs in the spiritual medicine pavilion would be in trouble. Jiao Mu, not to mention that you can't kill Ma Feng today, even if you kill Ma Feng, this brat will die for sure. Chu Kunming looked at Ling Xiao with murderous intent. His eyes were gloomy and full of murderous intent. He was threatening Master Jiao Mu. He wanted to use Ling Xiao's life to force Master Jiao Mu to let go and spare Steward Ma's life. Now, it was not just because of his relationship with Steward Ma that he was going to save him. More importantly, if he lowered his head in front of Master Jiao Mu, how could he be a deputy pavilion master in the future? After all, Master Jiao Mu was just an elder in the spiritual medicine pavilion. You dare to threaten me? Master Jiao Mu's eyes flashed, and his gaze became extremely cold. He was extremely respectful to Ling Xiao and had willingly acknowledged Ling Xiao as his master. Now that Chu Kunming had actually used Ling Xiao to threaten him, he was instantly infuriated. He also began to hesitate. After all, Ling Xiao was only at the spirit transformation realm. If Chu Kunming was truly enraged and recklessly attacked, Ling Xiao would not be his match. Seeing Grandmaster Jiao Mu hesitate, Chu Kunming continued, Jiao Mu, why don't we both take a step back? That young man forced his way into my spiritual medicines pavilion. Even if Ma Feng's words were inappropriate, he shouldn't have crippled all 4 of his limbs. Tell Ling Xiao to kneel down and apologize to Ma Feng. Then, this matter will be resolved. Little bastard, kneel down and apologize to me, then my brother-in-law will spare your dog life. Ma Feng was like a loyal lackey as he sneered. Master Jiao Mu and Ling Xiao were both slightly taken aback. Ask Ling Xiao to kneel down and apologize to Ma Feng. Chu Kunming's intentions were truly sinister. If Ling Xiao were to kneel down and apologize to Chu Kunming, then where would Jiao Mu's old face go? Chu Kunming, you're courting death. Grandmaster Jiao Mu was instantly enraged. His aura surged, and his aura grew stronger and stronger. His eyes revealed an incomparably cold light. Truly, the ignorant are fearless. Ling Xiao, who had been watching coldly from the sidelines, laughed at this moment. Ling Xiao's gaze landed on Steward Ma as he said indifferently, originally, you were already a dead man in my eyes. No matter who comes, it's all the same. However, some people are actually stupid enough to threaten me. Since that's the case, then you'd better die. A cold light flashed in Ling Xiao's eyes. Suddenly, a faint golden light spread out from his hands. A few golden sword rays shot through the air and shot toward Ma Feng like lightning. Ling Xiao's attack was like thunder from the 9 heavens. Before anyone could react, the sword rays had already arrived before Steward Ma. How dare you? Chu Kunming's expression changed. He had never thought that Ling Xiao would dare to attack Steward Ma. Moreover, those few unparalleled sword radiances contained a force that could pierce through everything. They were extremely fast. Without thinking, Chu Kunming's powerful innate gang qi surged and swept towards those few sword radiances. Chu Kunming, you'd better stop for a moment. Jiao Mu sneered and also struck with his palm. There was a slight explosion in the void, and a crimson divine light spread out. Boom! Chu Kunming's aura was cut off by Master Jiao Mu. The 2 palms collided in the void. Instantly, their bodies trembled and they retreated a few steps. Poof! At the same time, the sword ray that Ling Xiao shot out instantly pierced through Steward Ma's glabella. A trace of blood exploded and Steward Ma's eyes revealed a trace of disbelief. His head tilted to one side and he fell to the ground, dead. He did not expect that he would still die at Ling Xiao's hands even under Chu Kunming's protection. Little bastard, you're courting death. Chu Kunming's expression instantly turned ashen. Flames of fury burned in his eyes as he leaped toward Ling Xiao. Old friend, why aren't you attacking? What are you standing there for? Master Jiao Mu's expression changed instantly. He glanced at Li Ling in the distance and turned to pounce on Chu Kunming. Chu Kunming, if you dare to hurt young Master Ling, I won't rest until you're dead. Jiao Mu roared. He unleashed all his cultivation and charged toward Chu Kunming. You only know how to find trouble for me. Li Ling grumbled. However, a sharp divine light shot out from his originally languid eyes. The ancient sword behind him was unsheathed and turned into a stream of light that shot across the sky. Clang! The sound of the sword was clear. The snow-white sword rays surged, exuding an unparalleled power. In an instant, it blocked Ling Xiao's attack and destroyed all of Chu Kunming's aura. Boom! The ancient sword was pointed at Chu Kunming. Li Ling's temperament changed drastically. At this moment, it was as if he had transformed from a wretched old man into a peerless sword god. His entire body exuded a sharp aura. Li Ling, how dare you stop me? Chu Kunming was furious. His eyes flashed with a light that seemed to be about to devour someone. Deputy Pavilion Master Chu, Ma Feng only has himself to blame. Even death can't wipe out his crimes. I advise you not to act rashly. Otherwise, don't blame me for being rude. Li Ling said indifferently, not backing down. Chapter 154. Li Ling, this is a matter of the Spiritual Medicine Pavilion. How dare you interfere? Are you trying to provoke a war between the Li family and the Spiritual Medicine Pavilion? I advise you to think carefully. Chu Kunming said coldly. Li Ling's family was considered the top family in the entire Great Wilderness ancient country. Like the Spiritual Medicine Pavilion, they had a prominent status. It was impossible for the two forces to be at odds over a small matter like Ling Xiao. A war between the Li family and the Spiritual Medicine Pavilion? Deputy Pavilion Leader Chu, I'm afraid you can't represent the Spiritual Medicine Pavilion. Besides, I'll do it if I want to. I don't like you today. This little brother has a good temper. I won't let you kill him. What can you do? Li Ling said without giving in. His words made Chu Kunming fly into a rage. Chu Kunming was furious, but he did not dare to vent his anger. Li Ling was not someone to be trifled with, so he transferred all his anger to Ling Xiao. Little bastard, you'd better pray that old man Sanju will always protect you. Otherwise, I can't guarantee that you won't die a tragic death. Chu Kunming's cold eyes fell on Ling Xiao. He did not hide the threat in his words. Master Jiao Mu's expression changed. He shouted angrily, Chu Kunming, if anything happens to young Master Ling, I'll fight you to the death. And me. Li Ling was also angered by Chu Kunming. He did not expect that Chu Kunming would dare to threaten him while he was still here. He sneered and said, Deputy Pavilion Leader Chu, if anything happens to this little brother, I'll let you take 3 moves of my Sky Extinction Sword. Chu Kunming's expression changed slightly. Li Ling's Sky Extinction Sword was Li Ling's ultimate move. Once the sword was out, the wind and clouds would surge and the sky would change color. It could erupt with power comparable to the celestial realm. Master Jiao Mu was fine, but Li Ling was determined to protect Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao sneered and glanced at Chu Kunming. Old man, those who dare to threaten me have a miserable ending. I believe you're no exception. How dare an old man of the Grandmaster realm speak so arrogantly? I think you're tired of living. Ling Xiao's words immediately made Chu Kunming fly into a rage. However, before he could say anything, Ling Xiao looked at Master Jiao Mu and asked calmly, Master Jiao Mu, how much can you get from selling a 5 profound spiritual pill or a 6 profound spiritual pill? Ling Xiao's question immediately caused Chu Kunming's expression to change drastically. Master Jiao Mu was also taken aback. Ling Xiao had been scolding Chu Kunming just a second ago, but in the next second, he had asked this question. Wasn't this a little too sudden? However, Jiao Mu still replied honestly, young Master Ling, the sales of the 5 profound spirit pills and 6 profound spirit pills in the capital city are extremely good. This old man is also lazy, so he entrusted the sales to our spirit medicine pavilion. A 5 profound spirit pill can fetch me 200 peerless grade spirit stones, and a 6 profound spirit pill can fetch me 1000 peerless grade spirit stones. Master Jiao Mu was a little proud. After all, the 5 profound spirit pills and 6 profound spirit pills only consumed some ordinary spirit herbs. The cost was very low, so he could make 10 times the profit. Usually, he lived in seclusion and didn't care about the outside world at all. Thus, he wasn't clear about the actual sales of these 2 spirit pills. He only received a fixed dividend. However, the way everyone looked at Master Jiao Mu changed instantly. It was as if they were looking at a fool. The 5 profound spirit pill was sold for 1000 peerless grade spirit stones, and Master Jiao Mu could only get 100? And the 6 profound spirit pill was sold for 10,000 peerless grade spirit stones, and Master Jiao Mu could only get 1000? Was Master Jiao Mu's brain fried? How could he let the spirit medicine pavilion take such a huge advantage? At this time, even a fool would know that there was a problem. Seeing the strange look on everyone's face and Ling Zhao's faint smile, Jiao Mu was a little puzzled. He asked softly, young Master Ling, is there a problem with these 2 spirit pills? There's no problem with the spirit pills, but there's something wrong with your brain. Ling Zhao said indifferently. Then, he glanced at Chu Kunming and said, Master Jiao Mu, can you ask the spirit medicine pavilion how much these 2 spirit pills are selling for? Chu Kunming's face turned extremely ugly when he heard Ling Zhao's question. His eyes were filled with killing intent. Master Jiao Mu was completely confused. However, when he found out the price of the 5 profound spirit pill and 6 profound spirit pill, he was instantly enraged. His face was filled with shame and anger as he glared at Chu Kunming. His eyes were about to spit fire. Chu Kunming, how dare you trick me? His angry voice rang out in the spirit medicine pavilion. Master Jiao Mu was about to explode from anger. No wonder everyone looked at him as if he was an idiot. He was really an idiot. The 5 profound spirit pill, he had only obtained a mere 1/5 of it. What was worse was that he only got a 10th of the 6 profound spirit pill. Out of 10,000 peerless grade spirit stones, he was only given 1000. Was this a beggar? One had to know that the spirit medicine pavilion only provided some spirit herbs, and these 2 spirit pills were personally refined by Master Jiao Mu. Jiao Mu was so embarrassed that he wanted to find a hole to hide in. This was too fucking embarrassing. Jiao Mu, don't slander me. We had an agreement back then. You were the one who suggested the price of the 5 profound spirit pill and 6 profound spirit pill. As for the price, it's my business. It has nothing to do with you. Chu Kunming sneered coldly. But you told me that the 5 profound spirit pill would be sold for 300 peerless grade spirit stones and the 6 profound spirit pill would be sold for 2000 peerless grade spirit stones. Otherwise, why would I agree to such conditions? Chu Kunming, you old bastard, even if you bring this matter to the pavilion master, I won't hesitate. Just you wait, I think you've reached the end of your vice pavilion master career. Master Jiao Mu was so angry that smoke was coming out of his 7 orifices. His eyes were burning with rage as he pointed at Chu Kunming and roared. Everyone was in an uproar. What? The 5 profound spirit pill was only sold for 300 peerless grade spirit stones? And the 6 profound spirit pill is only sold for 2000 peerless grade spirit stones? Fuck, that old bastard Chu Kunming is really evil. He's openly deceiving us. I knew it. These 2 spirit pills are too expensive. No, I must tell my family to cut off all ties with Chu Kunming. Me too. I'll ban that old bastard. Everyone began to get agitated. Chu Kunming had made them spend several times the price. Everyone had become spendthrifts. This move of Chu Kunming's was really smooth. As an elder of the Spirit Medicine's Pavilion, Master Jiaomu usually focused on alchemy and did not care about worldly matters. Naturally, he would not ask about such a small matter like the price of the spirit pills. Therefore, this was a loophole that Chu Kunming caught. With this in and out, Chu Kunming was probably earning much more than Master Jiaomu. He was simply toying with Master Jiaomu like a monkey. But which one of these cultivators did not have a strong backing? With everyone targeting Chu Kunming at the same time, this old bastard would probably not be able to survive in the capital anymore. Chu Kunming's face turned incomparably ugly. He knew that he had really angered everyone this time. But all of this was caused by Ling Xiao. If not for Ling Xiao, nothing would have happened. Chapter 155. Ling Xiao's expression was indifferent, and his eyes narrowed slightly. He could feel that Chu Kunming wanted to kill him. It seemed that exposing Chu Kunming in public not only made him lose face, but also made him a target of scorn. He probably wouldn't be able to survive in the capital in the future. Brat, I'll remember you. Just you wait. Chu Kunming glanced at Ling Xiao coldly, then turned and left. Young Master Ling, I messed up. Jiaomu looked at Ling Xiao in shame, his old face red. Ling Xiao gave him the pill formulas of the 5 profound spirit pill and 6 profound spirit pill. In the end, he was taken for a fool. Thinking of how he showed off to Ling Xiao previously, Jiaomu was so embarrassed that he wanted to find a hole to hide in. Forget it. Just be more careful in the future. Ling Xiao said indifferently. He didn't care about this matter. Yes. Jiaomu nodded seriously. Jiaomu turned to look at the crowd and smiled slightly. Everyone, I'm really sorry that such a thing happened to my Spirit Medicine Pavilion. We've made a fool of ourselves. I hereby announce that from now on, each 5 profound spirit pill will only be sold for 500 supreme grade spirit stones, and each 6 profound spirit pill will only be sold for 5,000 supreme grade spirit stones. I hope that everyone will continue to support my Spirit Medicine Pavilion. Everyone was slightly stunned, then became wild with joy. They didn't expect that the 5 profound spirit pill and 6 profound spirit pill would actually be reduced in price. This was a 50% discount. The discount was too great. One had to know that the 5 profound spirit pill and 6 profound spirit pills sales in the entire capital were very good. It was simply hard to get a single pill. Some people even resold the pill for several times the price after buying it. Therefore, Jiaomu's decision was no different from a pie falling from the sky to everyone, making them dizzy. Many thanks, Master Jiaomu. Master Jiaomu is righteous. I thank Master Jiaomu for his generosity on behalf of the martial artists in the capital. Master, I've decided. In the future, our palace's spirit pills will be supplied by the Spirit Medicine Pavilion. Master, in the future, all the spirit medicines sold to the Spirit Medicine Pavilion will be sold at a 20% discount. Everyone looked emotional as they bowed deeply to Master Jiaomu. Alright, everyone, disperse. Master Jiaomu smiled, then glanced at Ling Xiao and said softly, Young Master Ling, please come in. Ling Xiao nodded, and then he glanced at the attendant that had been scared silly from before and said, Jiaomu, this young man isn't bad. Let him replace Manager Ma in the future. No problem. Lu Cheng, you'll be in charge from now on. Work hard. Jiaomu patted Lu Cheng's shoulder and smiled encouragingly. Then, he turned around and led Ling Xiao to the back hall. Lu Cheng shuddered as if he had just woken up from a dream. I'm in charge. Lu Cheng was still in disbelief, as if he was in a dream. Congratulations, Steward Lu. Steward Lu, please take care of us brothers in the future. Steward Lu, who exactly is that young Master Ling? Even Grandmaster Jiaomu is so respectful. Brother Lu Cheng, you've caught young Master Ling's eye. Your future is limitless. When the manservants saw Master Jiaomu and Ling Xiao leave, they immediately surrounded Lu Cheng, their faces filled with envy. I don't know young Master Ling's identity either. But everyone, work hard in the future. Without Ma Feng's oppression, I believe everyone will have a much better life in the future. Lu Qing only reacted after a while. He smiled bitterly and revealed a hint of authority as a steward, letting everyone go back to work. His gaze towards the back hall was filled with deep gratitude. Receiving young Master Ling was probably the luckiest thing that had ever happened to him. He also secretly made up his mind to work hard and not embarrass young Master Ling. Ling Xiao had only promoted Lu Qing in passing. The main reason was that he felt that this young man was not bad. He was neither servile nor overbearing, and he did not have the snobbish attitude of ordinary servants. He did things seriously and seriously. Such a person would be considered a talent no matter where he went. In the back hall of the spiritual medicine hall, in the secret chamber, Ling Xiao had just sat down when Master Jiaomu instantly knelt down respectfully. Master, disciple Jiaomu greets Master. Jiaomu's action instantly gave Li Ling a huge shock. Old fellow, what did you say? This little brother is your master. Li Ling's voice stuttered, and his eyes were filled with disbelief. He was still guessing who Ling Xiao was to actually make this old friend of his, who had always been arrogant, so respectful. And when Ling Xiao reprimanded him, he was even willing to endure it. But no matter how he thought about it, he never thought that Ling Xiao was actually Jiaomu's master. This young man looked no more than 15 or 16 years old. His face was very delicate, and his eyes were very bright like the stars. He exuded an indifferent aura from head to toe. Sitting there, he had an imposing aura that made people easily forget his age. Even if this young man looked quite talented, even if he started cultivating alchemy in his mother's womb, how long had it been? He could actually make Jiaomu acknowledge him as his master. That's right. Old fellow, young Master Ling is indeed my master. His attainments in alchemy are 100 times, 1,000 times better than mine. The 5 profound spirit pill, 6 profound spirit pill, and 7 profound treasure pill were all bestowed to me by young Master Ling. If you want to refine the sword heart pill, others may not be able to, but Master definitely can. Master Jiaomu said seriously. Jiaomu, get up first. You said the sword heart pill. Could it be the sword heart treasure pill from ancient times that could cleanse the sword heart and increase mentality? Ling Xiao motioned for Jiaomu to stand up, but after hearing Jiaomu's words, his eyes immediately revealed a glimmer of light. Master, you really know about the sword heart pill? Jiaomu's eyes immediately revealed an incomparably pleasantly surprised expression as he asked. Li Ling was also somewhat shocked. The sword heart pill was an ancient pill formula. One had to know that many alchemy masters might not have heard of it, but Ling Xiao actually knew about it, and seemed to be very familiar with it. His attainments in alchemy were actually that high. But how old was he? The sword heart pill is a kind of treasure pill from ancient times. It was passed down from medicine's celestial venerable 10,000 years ago. It's a kind of unorthodox treasure pill. The sword heart pill is of no use to the average person, but to people who cultivate the sword Tao, it has a very miraculous effect. It can cleanse the sword heart, increase mentality, and use the sword heart to reflect the heart of heaven, comprehending the realm of heaven-man unity. Ling Xiao's eyes flickered with a wise light. He glanced at Li Ling indifferently and said, if I didn't guess wrongly, you were once a pure sword cultivator, but you suffered a setback in a battle with someone, causing your sword heart to be damaged. You were unable to become one with heaven man all along and stepped into the Deva realm. It's you who wants to obtain the sword heart pill, right? Ling Xiao's words made Master Jiaomu's heart burst with joy. His face was full of admiration. But Li Ling's heart was incomparably shocked. The last bit of contempt he had for Ling Xiao also disappeared. Ling Xiao's understanding of the sword heart pill was even more than his. This youth really possessed unimaginable attainments in alchemy. Chapter 156. Li Ling immediately put down his last bit of restraint and said bitterly, young Master Ling, it's true that I need the sword heart pill. 30 years ago, When I broke through to the 9th level of the Grandmaster realm, I thought that my sword Dao was unparalleled. I advanced bravely and challenged all the heroes in the world, but I was defeated with a single strike and my sword heart was broken. As a result, I wasted 30 years and couldn't break through. In these 30 years, I studied alchemy and flipped through ancient books. Finally, I found the sword heart pill. It can cleanse my sword heart and help me break through again. But I only got an incomplete formula, and there are a few missing spirit herbs. Master Jiaomu and I tried hundreds of times, but all of them failed. Master Jiaomu also asked expectantly, "Master, can you refine the sword heart pill?" As he spoke, Master Jiaomu handed an ancient formula to Ling Xiao. Sword heart pill. Ling Xiao's eyes revealed a trace of surprise. He was no stranger to the sword heart pill. In his previous life, as the sky-devouring supreme, his attainments in alchemy were unparalleled in the world. He was known as the two great alchemy gods with the medicine Celestial Venerable at that time. He had once discussed alchemy with the medicine Celestial Venerable at the peak of Kunlun for 7 days and 7 nights. He had also seen the sword heart pill from the medicine Celestial Venerable. But how could the refining of the sword heart pill be so simple? Ling Xiao's expression did not change as he said indifferently, "Yes." "Really?" Master Jiaomu and Li Ling looked at each other, their eyes revealing incomparable excitement. "But why should I refine the sword heart pill for you?" Ling Xiao glanced at Li Ling and said slowly. Li Ling's expression froze, and he immediately laughed bitterly. Ling Xiao was Master Jiaomu's master and had no relations with him. It was indeed impossible for him to refine the sword heart pill for him. "Young Master Ling, as long as you can help me refine the sword heart pill, whether it's spirit stones or other treasures, it won't be a problem," Li Ling said seriously. His clan was one of the top clans in the entire royal capital. Naturally, they did not lack cultivation resources. "Do you think I lack these resources?" Ling Xiao smiled faintly. Li Ling was stunned. Ling Xiao could even casually take out formulas like the 5 profound spirit pill and 6 profound spirit pill. Naturally, he would not lack these resources. "Young Master Ling, what do you need?" "As long as you tell me, even if I have to search the entire Great Desolation ancient country, I will find it for you," Li Ling said firmly. "My condition is very simple." Ling Xiao smiled slightly and said, "I'll help you refine the sword heart pill and help you break through to the heaven realm. You have to join the longevity sect for 10 years and become the Tao guardian elder of the longevity sect. After 10 years, whether you leave or stay, it's all up to you. What do you think?" Longevity sect? Li Ling's expression turned strange. He was already prepared for Ling Xiao to demand an exorbitant price, but he did not expect Ling Xiao to actually raise such a condition. "All right, I agree." Li Ling only pondered for a moment before agreeing to it. Although he had a family behind him, ever since his sword heart was damaged, he had been wandering in the mortal world and had little contact with his family. Since he didn't belong to any sect, it was not a bad thing for him to become a guardian elder of a sect. Moreover, it was only for 10 years. After 10 years, he would regain his freedom. Master Jiaomu's expression was also a little strange. He knew that his master never did business without capital. Letting Li Ling become the longevity sect's Tao guardian elder might seem simple, but it was probably not that easy. Li Ling might not even know that Ling Xiao had sold him. However, knowing Ling Xiao's character, Master Jiaomu was not worried about anything. He chuckled and did not say anything else. "Very good, I believe Elder Li will definitely not regret it." Ling Xiao smiled slightly and said, "Since that's the case, then I'll open the furnace and refine the sword heart pill for Elder Li." Ling Xiao heaved a sigh of relief. In fact, he was also afraid that Li Ling would not agree. The reason why he valued Li Ling so much was not only because Li Ling was about to break through to the heaven realm and wanted to recruit an expert for the longevity sect. More importantly, Ling Xiao discovered that Li Ling's bloodline was very unusual. He actually possessed the legendary Sky Sword bloodline. The Sky Sword bloodline could be said to be born for the sword. It was a genius born to cultivate the way of the sword. In his previous life, Ling Xiao had once seen a possessor of the Sky Sword bloodline who entered the way of the sword and rushed into the supreme realm in just a few decades. Moreover, sword cultivators were very terrifying and their combat strength was extremely strong. Any expert who could become a supreme realm expert with the way of the sword was an invincible existence in the same realm. Therefore, how could Ling Xiao let go of such a person with the potential to become a supreme realm expert? Although Li Ling looked very old, his actual age was only in his 50s. 30 years ago, he was only in his 20s. At that time, he was already a powerhouse at the 9th level of the Grandmaster realm. It was enough to show his terrifying talent. Moreover, Ling Xiao also sensed that Li Ling's Sky Sword bloodline had not been activated, so his true terrifying talent had not erupted yet. This time, Ling Xiao could be said to have picked up a treasure. The reason why Ling Xiao said that he would protect him for 10 years was that he was confident that after 10 years, Li Ling would be completely loyal to the longevity sect. Boom! A light flashed in Ling Xiao's hand, and the 6 Suns cauldron appeared in front of him. This is a mid-grade treasure. Jiao Mu was shocked. He did not expect Ling Xiao to use a mid-grade treasure right away. One had to know that a mid-grade treasure cauldron was even more precious than a high-grade treasure. In the entire Great Barren Ancient Kingdom, only the Grand Tutor and the Pure Sun Spiritual Master each had a mid-grade treasure cauldron. However, what shocked Jiao Mu the most was that in order to activate a mid-grade treasure cauldron to refine pills, one had to be at least in the Grandmaster realm. However, Ling Xiao looked like he was only in the spirit transformation realm. Could he really activate a mid-grade treasure cauldron? Li Ling also revealed a similarly shocked expression. Take out all the spiritual herbs you have collected. Ling Xiao saw the doubt in Master Jiao Mu and Li Ling's eyes. He smiled faintly and did not explain. Master Jiao Mu and Li Ling quickly took out all the spiritual herbs they had collected to refine the sword heart pill. Spiritual herbs are enough. Ling Xiao looked at the elixirs and nodded. In fact, the sword heart pill had another effect that Ling Xiao did not mention. It could activate the sword Dao bloodline, especially the top-grade Sky Sword bloodline in Li Ling's body. Ling Xiao was 90% confident that he could completely activate the Sky Sword bloodline in Li Ling's body with the sword heart pill. At that time, Li Ling's peerless talent would completely erupt. Boom! The 6 Suns cauldron landed in the center of the secret chamber. Ling Xiao patted the cauldron and a blazing flame rose up, enveloping the entire cauldron. The flame emitted a faint 5-colored light. It was mysterious and there were strange runes intertwining. The 6 Suns cauldron seemed to be drowned in flames. The array on the cauldron was also activated. 6 bright little suns began to appear, looking very strange. Using the true fire in his body to refine pills. Isn't young Master Ling too arrogant? Old man, even if you want to refine pills with the true fire in your body, it should be very difficult, right? Li Ling's eyes flashed as he saw the scene before him and whispered. Li Ling also had the attainments of a low-grade alchemy master. Naturally, he knew how difficult it was to refine pills with the true fire in his body. Unless one's cultivation had reached the celestial realm, the true fire in his body would grow and multiply endlessly. Only then would he be able to refine pills with the true fire at will. Otherwise, even Master Jiao Mu and Li Ling could only rely on the earth fire. Therefore, Ling Xiao's true fire pill refinement shocked him instantly. And what exactly was that 5-colored flame? It looked countless times stronger than the earth fire. Could it be the legendary true fire of heaven and earth? Chapter 157. The 6 Sun cauldron shone brightly, illuminating Ling Xiao's calm and indifferent gaze. Although Ling Xiao's cultivation was only at the first level of the Dragon Tiger realm, his heaven-devouring spiritual seed had reached perfection. The heaven-devouring true qi in his body was endless. Using the heaven-devouring true qi in his body to refine pills wasn't a problem. Moreover, the sword heart pill was very special. It was worth his full effort. Buzz! The 6 sun cauldron floated in the sea of fire. 6 bright little suns appeared, causing the 6 sun cauldron to emit a faint medicinal fragrance. As the temperature in the 6 sun cauldron increased, Ling Xiao sprinkled the spiritual herbs needed to refine the sword heart pill into the 6 sun cauldron. Golden flames filled the air, and strands of them intertwined. The spirit herbs were separated from each other, turning into golden spirit herb essences. The interior of the 6 sun cauldron was like a starry sky. The stars gathered and rotated slowly, emitting a strange fluctuation. Ling Xiao's alchemy technique shocked Li Ling again. After all, most alchemists would refine spiritual herbs one by one. To be able to refine all the spiritual herbs at the same time as Ling Xiao was simply a divine skill that was unheard of. However, Master Jiao Mu was already used to it. At this moment, his eyes were filled with excitement as he carefully observed Ling Xiao's refining technique. Every time he watched Ling Xiao refine pills, it was a kind of enjoyment. It was as if he had become one with the surrounding heaven and earth. There was a strange rhythm and beauty. Master Jiao Mu knew that this was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Watching Ling Xiao refine pills once was better than fumbling around alone. Boom! The medicinal fragrance in the 6 sun cauldron grew stronger and stronger. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. Suddenly, 5 blazing divine lights shot out from his palm and shot toward the 6 sun cauldron. Roar! A clear dragon's roar sounded. The 5 divine lights were very strange. They turned into white, green, black, red, and yellow flame dragons. They looked lifelike and instantly merged into the 6 sun cauldron. The 6 sun cauldron trembled slightly. The galaxy formed by the spiritual herb essences suddenly exploded. Rumble! It was as if there was a blazing flash of lightning, and all the essences of the spiritual herbs exploded with a bang. Then, they condensed together and turned into an incomparably resplendent spiritual pearl. The 5 flame dragons swam around the spiritual pearl. Every time, they would spit out 5 colored flames that slowly merged into the spiritual pearl. This is 5 dragons playing with a pearl. Master Jiao Mu's eyes shook, and he immediately revealed a look of ecstasy. He had once seen Ling Xiao use the 2 dragons playing with a pearl technique to refine the dragon transformation pill. Furthermore, Ling Xiao had once said that his fire control technique was based on the 2 dragons playing with a pearl technique, with the 9 dragons playing with a pearl technique being the peak. 2 dragons playing with a pearl could increase the success rate by 20%, and there was an even greater chance of a flawless treasure pill appearing. 3 dragons playing with a pearl increased the success rate by 30%, all the way to 9 dragons playing with a pearl increased the success rate by 90%. In other words, if one could master the 9 dragons playing with pearl's fire control technique, no matter how difficult the pill was to concoct, one could still achieve a 90% success rate. It had to be known that the more basic the pill, the higher the success rate. However, for spirit pills, treasure pills, Tao pills, and even supreme pills, the higher the level, the lower the success rate. Even if it was an alchemy Tao supreme, the success rate of refining the supreme pill might only be 10 to 20%. However, the 9 dragons playing with pearl's fire control technique was the most perfect fire control technique. No matter what kind of pill it was, it could reach a terrifying 90% success rate. In his previous life, Ling Xiao had once used the 9 dragons playing with pearl's fire control technique to refine a peerless divine pill that shocked the world. Therefore, Ling Xiao and Medicine Empyrean were also known as the 2 great alchemy gods of the war god continent 10,000 years ago. They were the titans of the alchemy world and were madly worshipped by countless alchemists. Although Jiaomu was only Ling Xiao's in-name disciple, after observing his temperament, Ling Xiao had also taught him the 2 dragons playing with pearl's fire control technique. It was just that Master Jiaomu had studied it for a long time before he could grasp the knack of it. If he wanted to completely master it, it would still take a long time. Now that he had seen Ling Xiao's 5 dragons playing with pearl's fire control technique, it would be very beneficial for him to comprehend the 2 dragons playing with pearl. Buzz! Buzz! 5 flame dragons coiled around the pearl in the center, which was resplendent and dazzling, and emitted an incomparably rich medicinal fragrance. Wisps of 5 colored flames merged into the pearl, and the pearl began to undergo a strange change. An incomparably sharp sword beam slowly formed. The pearl looked incomparably round, but it emitted a strange sharpness that caused the 6-sun cauldron to begin buzzing and trembling. Next is the most crucial moment. Jiaomu and Li Ling looked at each other, feeling a little nervous. Although the two of them were convinced by Ling Zhao's alchemy technique, this was the most difficult part of the sword heart pill. This was because the sword heart pill needed to add 2 types of spirit herbs. Master Jiaomu and Li Ling had tried many times to add these 2 spirit herbs, but they had all failed. They hoped that Ling Zhao would succeed, but they couldn't help but feel a little apprehensive. A swordsman's sharpness. At this moment, Ling Zhao actually opened his eyes. There seemed to be a peerless sharpness in his eyes as he stared at Jiaomu and Li Ling. The Tao of the sword heart is one that would rather break than bend. The so-called sword heart is one that would rather be obtained directly than bent. The medicinal power of the sword heart pill cannot be forcefully fused. It can only be stronger. The sword heart can break the heavens, slash the universe, and annihilate the world. This is the Tao of the sword heart pill, and also the path to refining the sword heart pill. Ling Zhao's voice was like a morning bell and evening drum, ringing in the ears of Master Jiaomu and Li Ling. So, let's completely erupt. The sharpness in Ling Zhao's eyes flickered to the extreme. Then, a ball of golden blood flew out and instantly fused into the 6-yang cauldron. That ball of golden blood contained the most blazing sharpness. It instantly enveloped the spirit pearl formed from the spirit herb essence. That was the essence blood of the chaos demon ape, which contained the essence of the boundless gunmetal sword qi. Boom! The spirit pearl exploded with a bang, and even the 5-colored flame dragon turned into a blazing divine light at the same time. The 6-yang cauldron trembled violently. Seeing that the divine light was about to rush out, Ling Zhao formed a seal with both hands and pressed down with his palm. Boom! After all the divine light exploded, it was suppressed back by Ling Zhao's palm, slowly turning into a ball of the most blazing light. Buzz! As if there was a clear sword hum, the 6-yang cauldron trembled, and ripples began to appear in the void. Ling Zhao spat out a breath sword from his mouth, and the 6-yang cauldron landed on the ground with a bang. Endless smoothness spewed out, and an incomparably sharp sword pill rushed out from within. The sword pill bloomed with brilliance, as if billions of sword beams were flickering, about to slash through heaven and earth, emitting the purest sword intent. Ling Zhao waved his hand, and the sword pill landed in his palm. Chapter 158. This is the sword heart pill. Ling Zhao handed it to Li Ling, his eyes revealing a trace of emotion. So that's how it is, so that's how it is. We were wrong from the start. Master Jiaomu was shocked for a long time. Incomparably excited look suddenly surged in his eyes, and he started dancing with joy. The sword heart pill is to enter the sword Tao with alchemy Tao. It's not a simple spirit pill. Therefore, the spirit medicines used in the sword heart pill all contain heptametal attribute. With so much heptametal power intertwined together, we shouldn't think of ways to fuse it together, but should let this sharpness become even purer. A swordsman is tranquil and straight. Unparalleled sharpness. The reason why the sword heart pill can cleanse the sword heart is because of this tranquil and unyielding sword intent sharpness. Losing this sword intent, the sword heart pill is not the sword heart pill at all. Turns out that we were wrong from the start. Jiamu's eyes were filled with excitement, so agitated that even his beard curled up. He felt as if Ling Zhao had opened a door for him. It turned out that the mysteries of alchemy Tao were not limited to medicinal stones. There were also the myriad Tao of heaven and earth and the power of creation. The pinnacle of alchemy Tao, perhaps the myriad Tao of the heavens, could be fused into a medicinal pill. Boom! Jiamu felt his mind clear up. Boundless and unparalleled mental strength suddenly erupted, instantly breaking through the bottleneck and officially stepping into the realm of middle-grade alchemy master. Many thanks for master's guidance. Jiamu bowed towards Ling Xiao willingly, his eyes full of reverence. When he thought that he saw Ling Xiao's alchemy Dao attainments, he discovered that what Ling Xiao revealed was only the tip of the iceberg. Ling Xiao's attainments in alchemy Dao already reached a realm that he could not imagine. No need to thank me. I didn't expect that you actually have such comprehension ability in alchemy Dao. Ling Xiao smiled faintly, his eyes revealing a trace of a strange light. For Master Jiamu to be able to break through just based on his words, it was admittedly because Master Jiamu had long reached the peak of low-grade alchemy master. It was also because his comprehension ability was astonishing. Ling Xiao also attached some importance to Jiamu. Jiamu's talent did not look good, but he had a fanatical heart that yearned for alchemy Dao. Furthermore, his comprehension ability was also extraordinary. Such a person would definitely be able to make a name for himself in the path of alchemy Dao. Ling Xiao's eyes flickered. He felt a trace of pure sword will and immediately turned to look at Li Ling. A swordsman is sharp. The Dao of the sword heart Dao, rather break than bend. The so-called of the heart of sword Dao is heart is heart Ling Xiao sword hearts Dao, Lings of Dao. Gradually, his eyes began to sharpen, and the lazy and casual temperament of his body faded away, and he began to reveal his sharpness. The air trembled slightly, and the ancient sword behind him began to hum. It was as if it had sensed the changes in its master's body, and a wave of joy spread out from it. After a long while, Li Ling took a deep breath. The sharpness in his eyes disappeared as he bowed deeply to Ling Xiao. Thank you for your guidance, young Master Ling. It turns out that I've been on the wrong path all this while. I can't break through because I have fear in my heart. How can I be considered a pure sword cultivator if I have fear in my heart? How can I love the sword when I love wine and alchemy Dao? The only one who can defeat myself is myself. Not a mere medicinal pill. From today onwards, I'm no longer old man 3 absolutes. I'm heavenly sword Li Ling. Li Ling enunciated each word clearly. His body was ramrod straight, and the sharpness in his eyes was unparalleled. It was as if he was starting to be reborn. Furthermore, there was an aura surging on his body. That was a kind of heaven-man unity, about to merge with heaven and earth. Young Master Ling, I don't need this sword heart pill. Within 3 days, I'll definitely be heaven-man unity and break through to heaven-man realm. Li Ling said with a faint smile, his face filled with strong confidence. No, you need it. Ling Xiao smiled slightly and handed the sword heart pill to Li Ling. It's indeed impressive that you can think clearly. But this sword heart pill can give you unimaginable benefits. Take it. I look forward to your glory after exiting seclusion, Elder Li. This sword heart pill could not only cleanse Li Ling's heart of the sword, but more importantly, it could awaken his heavenly sword bloodline. Thinking of the horror of the heavenly sword bloodline, Ling Xiao's heart was also filled with anticipation. It was just that he did not say it out loud. Unimaginable benefits. Li Ling's eyes also revealed a trace of anticipation. He took it and nodded solemnly. Yes, Saint. This change of address also meant that Li Ling acknowledged his identity as the Longevity Sex Guardian Elder. Li Ling thought for a moment, took out a token from his storage bag, and handed it to Ling Xiao. Saint, this is my Ling family's Tai Bai token. If you have any needs in the capital, you can go to Tai Bai restaurant to find the Li family. They'll definitely help you. After I come out of seclusion, I'll look for you. Ling Xiao smiled slightly and did not refuse, accepting it. All right. The Tai Bai token was as warm as jade in his hand and looked very simple. On it was the back of a swordsman who was flying in the air with his sword pointing at the world. On the back, there were the words, Tai Bai. Take this minor soul refining technique and cultivate it well. I hope you can surpass spiritual master Chun Yang and the grand tutor. Ling Xiao took out a secret manual and handed it to Master Jiao Mu. Minor soul refining technique? Master Jiao Mu was a little confused. He took it and flipped it open. Instantly, his entire body began to tremble with excitement. It's a secret technique to cultivate mental strength? Thank you, Master. Thank you, Master. Master Jiao Mu was beaming as if he had received a treasure. This secret technique to raise mental strength was incomparably precious. Even spiritual Master Chun Yang and the Grand Tutor did not have it. Ling Xiao gave it to him so casually, making him feel very lucky. Master, there's a portion of the materials you asked me to collect last time. However, the 5 elements spirit seeds are too precious, and there aren't many of them in the capital. However, I heard that there will be a yin-yang spirit seed being auctioned in the Grand Wilderness Auction House in a few days. Master, you can go take a look. I'll definitely help you get it. Master Jiao Mu handed a storage bag to Ling Xiao. It was filled with all kinds of spiritual herbs and treasures that Ling Xiao had asked him to collect. Ling Xiao glanced at it and revealed a hint of satisfaction. Very good, well done. Yin-yang spirit seed. I'll go take a look myself. Ling Xiao's heart skipped a beat when he heard about the yin-yang spirit seed. This was because the next step of the heaven-devouring secret technique required the yin-yang spirit seed. This was good news for him. Next, Li Ling would prepare to go into seclusion to break through, and Master Jiao Mu would stand guard for him. Ling Xiao bade farewell to the two and left the elixir hall. Chapter 159. Ling Xiao left the spiritual medicine hall and walked along the street while thinking. He found out from Shi Wuxin that the people from the Wanshou sect had arrived at the capital city. Without a doubt, the capital city was targeting Ling Xiao. Although they had not found out the cause of Elder Kuan Shi's death, it was only a matter of time before they found out about the Changsan sect and Ling Xiao. After all, Elder Kuan Shi's death was the center of attention. Although the disciples of the Changsan sect were ordered to keep their mouths shut, it was inevitable that they would leak the news. Moreover, Shi Wuxin had also died at Ling Xiao's hands. The news would spread to the capital city soon. By then, there would be a battle between the Wanshou sect and Ling Xiao. He Qing, a celestial realm elite. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed, revealing a glimmer of light. Even if the Wanshou sect did not come looking for him, Ling Xiao decided to strike first to gain the upper hand. Moreover, he was sure that the leader of the Wanshou sect, He Qing, was a genuine celestial realm elite. Ling Xiao was still not a match for a celestial realm elite, so he had to plan carefully. First, I have to find out where the people from the Wanshou sect are now. Ling Xiao thought to himself. Unknowingly, Ling Xiao had walked along the street for a long time. There were many restaurants on both sides of the street, and the shops were bustling with people. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed, and he saw a very grand restaurant in front of him. Tai-Bai Restaurant? Is it the property of the Li family? The corner of Ling Xiao's mouth twitched as he remembered the Tai-Bai token in his pocket. He smiled and walked toward Tai-Bai Restaurant. Was there a better place to gather information than a restaurant? Tai-Bai Restaurant looked very grand, much better than the restaurants around it. The people who ate here were either rich or noble, so he should be able to gather a lot of useful information. Sir, please come in. As soon as he saw Ling Xiao walking towards Tai-Bai Restaurant, the eyes of the waiter at the entrance lit up, and he hurriedly invited Ling Xiao in. Sir, our Tai-Bai Restaurant is the best restaurant in the capital city. We have everything from flying in the sky, swimming in the water, and crawling on the ground. We also have many delicacies made from precious demon beasts. We guarantee that you will be satisfied. The waiter smiled as he led Ling Xiao into the restaurant. The interior of Tai-Bai Restaurant was very spacious. Hundreds of tables and chairs were placed in the hall on the first floor. At the moment, the hall was filled with guests. Everyone was toasting each other, and it was very noisy. On the far right, there was a staircase that led to the second floor. There were 2 Dragon Tiger Realm martial artists guarding the staircase. Their eyes were like hawks as they indifferently scanned the people in the hall. I want to go to the second floor. Ling Xiao looked at the waiter and smiled. Second floor. The waiter was taken aback, and a trace of embarrassment appeared in his eyes. With a bitter smile, he said, "Young master, the second floor is generally reserved for people with status in the capital city. They are all regular customers of Tai-Bai restaurant. Ordinary people can't go up." "Young master, the meaning of the waiter's words was self-evident. Ling Xiao was dressed in ordinary clothes. Although he had an extraordinary aura, he did not seem to be someone of high status, so he could not go up to the second floor. "Your Tai-Bai restaurant really has a lot of rules. Is this okay?" Ling Xiao smiled faintly and took out the Tai-Bai token. After seeing the Tai-Bai token, the waiter's expression changed instantly. "So it's the second master's distinguished guest. I was blind. Young master, follow me. With this, of course you can go up to the second floor." The waiter's face was instantly filled with an attentive and even flattering smile. He led Ling Xiao to the second floor without any obstruction. The second floor looked much quieter. There were only a dozen tables and chairs, and there were also some private rooms. At the moment, there were many people sitting in them. However, from the way they dressed, they were indeed rich and respectable. Moreover, they spoke elegantly and softly. They would not disturb others. Ling Xiao chose a seat by the window and casually ordered some wine and dishes. The waiter respectfully retreated. Outside the window, the sun was shining brightly, and there was a clear, small lake. The slightly cold wind blew, clearing Ling Xiao's mind and making him feel much more comfortable. His mental strength spread out and enveloped the entire Tai-Bai restaurant. In the restaurant, Ling Xiao could clearly hear the conversations of the people there. Behind the hall on the first floor, 7 to 8 burly men in martial arts attire were sitting together. At this moment, they seemed to have drunk too much. All of them were flushed and chatting loudly. "Did you know? I heard that the little princess, Xia Hongxiu, came back from the Sun Moon Star sect today. Rank 5 Tiger Beast pulled the carriage and Vermilion Bird camp guards. That's called imposing, TSK. The little princess is back. I heard that she was accepted as a disciple by an elder of the Sun Moon Star sect. Now, she is the last disciple of the Sun Moon Star sect. At the age of 16, she has already reached the 9th level of the Dragon Tiger realm. This kind of talent is simply shocking. Why did she come back? I heard that it's to participate in the Great Barren Ancient Kingdom's sacrificial ceremony. However, I heard that there is another reason, Oh? What's the reason? Do you know the Demon King? The one who was known as one of the 2 great geniuses of the Great Barren Ancient Kingdom, Ling Zhen. Demon King Ling Zhen. Who doesn't know? It is said that he and the king were good brothers when they were young. They trained together and experienced many dangers together. Later on, he played a crucial role in the king's ascension to the throne. Therefore, after the king ascended to the throne, Ling Zhen was also given the title of Demon King Ling Zhen. Didn't the Demon King suddenly disappear 3 years ago? What does the little princess's return have to do with the Demon King Ling Zhen? You don't know this, right? Demon King Ling Zhen only has one son, and that's the infamous good-for-nothing Ling Xiao. The little princess and Ling Xiao were born on the same day, same month, and same year, so His Majesty and Ling Zhen had already arranged for them to be betrothed to each other. They'll get married when they're 16. What? The little princess wants to marry that big trash, Ling Xiao. What ability does he have? I heard that big trash, Ling Xiao, was born with blocked veins. It is very difficult for him to cultivate. He will be a cripple his entire life. 3 years ago, after the Demon King disappeared, Ling Xiao was sent to a small sect. In fact, he was banished. Isn't that right? Ling Xiao is such a trash. How could the little princess be willing to marry him? Therefore, I heard that the little princess returned to the capital this time to annul the engagement with Ling Xiao. Annul the engagement? Fuck, this is a huge humiliation. No matter how much of a trash Ling Xiao is, he won't be able to take it, right? Hee, so what if he can't take it? He is still in that small sect. There is no demon king Ling Zhen backing him up. What can he do? If he doesn't agree, I'm afraid he will lose his life. I heard that even the king has silently agreed to this matter. I remember now. The Ling family's year-end competition is in 3 days. It is said that the Ling family's great elder, Ling Yunxiang, intends to let his grandson, Ling Tianxi, inherit the title of Demon King Ling Zhen. Therefore, he spread the news in advance. As long as he can obtain first place in the year-end competition, he will be able to inherit the title of Demon King Ling Zhen. The king has also agreed to this matter. Big trash Ling Xiao is too pitiful. Not only will the engagement be annulled, even the title of Demon King Ling Zhen will be snatched away. Sigh. What can he do? Who asked him to be a trash? Say, the Demon King Ling Zhen is so talented. How could he give birth to such a trash son? Although that Ling Tianxi isn't one of the 5 young masters of the capital, he is still at the 9th level of the Dragon Tiger realm. It is said that it is very likely that he will break through to the master stage within 3 years. When that time comes, he will be the 6th young master of the capital. Chapter 160. Annulling the marriage and taking away my right to inherit the title of Demon Monarch. I didn't expect to encounter such a ridiculous situation. Ling Zhao's lips curled into a cold smile. If he was still the useless Ling Xiao, he would be powerless and could only die in humiliation. No one would sympathize with him. However, he was not the useless Ling Xiao from 3 years ago. He was the sky-devouring supreme, Ling Xiao. Since I've obtained your physical body, I'll help you solve these problems. However, even if the marriage is annulled, it will not be Xia Hongxiu's turn. Ling Xiao smiled faintly as a sharp light flashed in his eyes. Despite his calm state of mind, he could not help but feel a surge of anger. Xia Hongxiu was a genius, the most beloved princess of the great wilderness king. At the same time, she was a true disciple of the Sun Moon Star sect. Ling Xiao could understand why she did not want to marry him. However, her mistake was that she had chosen the most humiliating way to annul her engagement with Ling Xiao. Which man in the world could tolerate this? Now that the demon monarch was missing, Ling Xiao could not even protect himself. Even if he was 16 years old, Ling Xiao would not dare to ask Xia Hongxiu to marry him. However, Xia Hongxiu was undeniably arrogant. She was so arrogant that she did not care about Ling Xiao's life and death. If Ling Xiao was really the useless Ling Xiao of the past, he would have vomited 3 liters of blood and died from shame and anger. As for Ling Yunxiang and Ling Tianxi, they dared to touch the title of Demon Monarch and tried to harm Ling Xiao time and time again. In Ling Xiao's heart, Ling Yunxiang and Ling Tianxi were no different from dead people. 3 days later, it would be their time of death. Ling Xiao's mind spun, and he quickly suppressed all his emotions and calmed down. At this moment, he also heard about the whereabouts of the Wanshou sect. It turned out that the Wanshou sect did not hide their tracks. Instead, they came to the royal capital in the name of bringing their disciples to cultivate and experience the local customs of the great wilderness ancient kingdom. Although the ancient kingdom of desolation was surprised by the arrival of the Wanshou sect, they still arranged for them to stay at the relay station and served them well. In the past few days, the disciples of the Wanshou sect had been wandering around the royal capital, exchanging pointers with the younger generation of the royal capital and making a name for themselves. The 5 princes of the royal capital were the 5 grandmasters below the age of 30 in the royal capital. They were the representatives of the younger generation of the Great Desolation ancient kingdom. Moreover, there were rumors that the disciples of the Wanshou sect were about to challenge the royal capital's 5 princes. Ling Xiao also heard a piece of useful information from the crowd. Among the disciples of the Wanshou sect, there was a true disciple named Shi Tianluo. He had the heavenly serpent bloodline and was extremely talented. He was considered an expert in the Grandmaster realm. Snake descent? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. This Shi Tian Luo was Shi Tian Xian's brother. Once the news of Ling Xiao killing Shi Tian Xian reached Shi Tian Luo's ears, the two of them would definitely have a battle to the death. Ling Xiao was already thinking about how to get rid of these people from the Wanshou sect. Brother, may I sit here? Just as Ling Xiao was thinking, a hearty voice rang out and interrupted his thoughts. Ling Xiao raised his head and saw a young man in his 20s. He was dressed in white and had a handsome face and a slender figure. He exuded a gentle aura and had a faint smile on his face. Ling Xiao could also see that although this young man was only 21 or 22 years old, he was already at level 9 of the Dragon Tiger realm. I'm Li Qingfeng from the Li family. The owner of the Tai Bai token in your hand is my second uncle. The young man smiled and explained. So it's Brother Li. Please take a seat. Ling Xiao nodded and said. Pardon me for asking, but this Tai Bai token belongs to my uncle. May I know why you have it? Li Qingfeng asked with a smile. Ling Xiao said, I have some connections with Master Jiao Mu. I met old man Sanju in the spiritual medicine hall. We hit it off, so he gave me the Tai Bai token. The corner of Li Qingfeng's mouth twitched. The Tai Bai token was not some cabbage. Why would Li Ling give it to this young man just because they hit it off? The Tai Bai token was the most honorable symbol of the Li family. In the entire Li family, only the head of the Li family and Li Ling each had one. Li Qingfeng was very curious why Li Ling would give such a precious token to a young man. However, Li Ling and Master Jiao Mu were indeed close. This young man should be Master Jiao Mu's nephew. So that's how it is. My apologies. How should I address you? Li Qingfeng asked curiously. Li Qingfeng was curious about Ling Xiao's identity. Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. Ling Xiao. Li Qingfeng was stunned. Then, a strange expression appeared on his face. After all, Ling Xiao was too famous. Almost everyone in the capital knew that the Demon King's son, Ling Xiao, was a famous piece of trash. And this young man in front of him was also called Ling Xiao. He looked to be 15 or 16 years old. Could it be? Li Qingfeng shook his head and laughed in his heart. The young man in front of him had an extraordinary aura, and his cultivation had reached the 3rd level of the spirit transformation realm. How could he be the big piece of trash Ling Xiao? Ling Xiao seemed to have seen through Li Qingfeng's thoughts. Brother Li, you guessed right. I am the Ling Xiao you're thinking of. Cough cough, Li Qingfeng coughed, a trace of shock in his eyes. Brother. Are you really the little prince of the Demon King's estate, that Ling Xiao? This news was too shocking. If the people of the capital knew that the big piece of trash in their eyes had returned, and not only was he not a piece of trash, but he was also a talented young man, what kind of expression would they have? It is indeed me. Ling Xiao said calmly, not showing the slightest hint of displeasure. I'm sorry, Brother Ling. This news is just too shocking. A trace of apology appeared on Li Qingfeng's face. He smiled bitterly and said, everyone was still discussing whether or not Brother Ling would come back to participate in the Ling family's end-of-year competition. I didn't expect Brother Ling to really come back, and even have cultivation. However, why did Brother Ling have to come back and get involved in this mess? The little princess has also returned. In Li Qingfeng's opinion, Ling Xiao's talent was extraordinary for him to be able to break through to the 3rd level of the spirit transformation realm. However, it was still too difficult for someone at the 3rd level of the spirit transformation realm to compete with Ling Tianxi. Furthermore, Ling Xiao was not only facing Ling Tianxi, but also the proud daughter of heaven, Xia Hongxiu. What will come will come. Blindly avoiding it is not a good idea. Since I can't avoid it, why not face it calmly? Chapter 161. A look of admiration appeared on Qingfeng's face as he said, Brother Ling, you're really broad-minded. It's a pity that the world is ignorant, thinking that Brother Ling's martial arts talent has long been lost. However, They don't know that Brother Ling has been silently cultivating. Even if Brother Ling loses to Ling Tianxi, I still believe that Brother Ling will definitely become a true expert in the future. Obviously, even Qing Feng didn't think that Ling Xiao could win against Ling Tianxi in the year-end competition. After all, the difference between the two was too great. Ling Xiao smiled faintly and didn't explain anything. The two slowly conversed. Qing Feng was the young master of the Li family, so he was very clear about the situation in the capital. Ling Xiao obtained a lot of useful information from him. Moreover, Qing Feng was an honest person and felt like old friends at first sight. He didn't hide anything from Ling Xiao, which made Ling Xiao have a good impression of him. Not long after, a pretty maid in a green dress ran up to the second floor, panting. When she saw Qing Feng, her eyes instantly lit up. "Young master, so you're here. Master asked me to call you back, he said there's an urgent matter." The pretty maid looked innocent and cute, her big eyes watery as she spoke to Qing Feng. Then, she looked curiously at Ling Xiao. "Father is looking for me." Qing Feng was slightly stunned, then looked apologetically at Ling Xiao. "Brother Ling, I feel like old friends at first sight and can't wait to talk through the night. However, my father has something to discuss, so I have to excuse myself. Brother Ling, you can stay in Tai Bai restaurant for the next 2 days. When I'm done, I'll come and talk to you again." "No problem, Brother Li, go ahead." Ling Xiao smiled faintly. Qing Feng got up and hurriedly left with the pretty maid. At this moment, it was already evening. The number of people in Tai Bai restaurant gradually increased. Even the second floor was filled with people. Outside the window, the sun was setting in the west, scattering a golden afterglow. It shone on the small lake outside the window, making it look very beautiful. Ling Xiao drank alone and appeared to be very carefree. The wine was the Tai Bai drunk wine that was unique to the Tai Bai restaurant. It was said that this Tai Bai drunk wine was brewed from the Li family's ancestral recipe, and was one of the most famous wines in the royal capital. The Tai Bai drunk wine that Ling Xiao was drinking was specially ordered by Li Qingfeng. It was a 50-year-old Tai Bai drunk wine with a strong aroma that lingered in one's mouth. It also contained traces of the essence of spiritual herbs. Traces of warmth flowed through one's body, making one feel indescribably comfortable. Right at this moment, a young master in an embroidered jade robe appeared. His appearance was rather handsome, but his lips were very thin, his eyes were long and narrow, and his face revealed an arrogant expression. He had the bearing of someone who lived like a prince. He held a folding fan in his hand and walked up to the second floor with 2 pretty maids following behind him. The brocade-clothed youth looked around and saw that the seats were already filled with people. He immediately frowned. "Young Master Chen, the second floor is full. Why don't you wait for a while?" The waiter who led the youth in embroidered clothes oversaid carefully. "Pa!" A crisp sound rang out. The youth in embroidered clothes gave the waiter a big slap, directly slapping half of the waiter's face until it was swollen. "Blind bastard, you dare to make this young master wait? Do you believe that I won't tear down your Tai Bai restaurant?" The youth in embroidered clothes scolded with a cold smile on his face. His gaze swept across the people on the second floor. He knew most of them, and they were all people of status in the royal capital. However, when his gaze swept past Ling Xiao, a cold smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. "I want that seat. Tell him to scram. I'll take care of all the dishes." The youth in embroidered clothes pointed at Ling Xiao and said arrogantly. Ling Xiao knew this waiter. It was the waiter who led him here. He stood up from the ground and covered half of his face with his hand. He smiled bitterly and said, "Young Master Chen, that young master is also an important guest. The young master instructed us to treat him well. Why don't I help you change to another private room? Young Master Chen, why don't you come and sit with me? Young Master Chen, come to my place. It's a blessing of 3 lifetimes to be able to see young Master Chen." That's right. Young Master Chen's brother is one of the 5 young masters of the royal capital. Young Master Chen is also a dragon among men. The youth in embroidered clothes' clamor immediately attracted the attention of the people on the second floor. Immediately, someone stood up and smiled politely at the youth in embroidered clothes. Even those who did not stand up nodded their heads in greeting. The youth in embroidered clothes was called Chen Zitao. He was the son of the great general. Chen Zitao's brother, Chen Fengdao, was one of the 5 young masters of the royal capital. He was a famous young martial scholar and was the best among his peers. Regardless of family background or status, Chen Zitao was enough to make people value him and even flatter him. However, only Ling Xiao was still sitting there and drinking. His expression was indifferent as he looked out of the window. He had no intention of looking here. The anger in Chen Zitao's heart suddenly burned. He was already in a bad mood today. He was scolded by his father because he did not cultivate seriously. He wanted to come out and relax, but there was no seat for him in Tai Bai restaurant. What was even more abominable was that this youth did not quickly and respectfully give up his seat after hearing his name. What a bastard! No, I want that seat. Chen Zitao insisted. The coldness in his eyes became more and more intense. The waiter was on the verge of tears. He could not afford to offend the guests on both sides. He could only suffer in the middle. However, Chen Zitao did not continue to make things difficult for the waiter. Instead, he walked towards Ling Xiao. Brat, give up your seat. These dishes are on me. Scram. Chen Zitao walked in front of Ling Xiao and said coldly. You, Ling Xiao slowly turned his head. His eyes revealed a trace of indifference. Who do you think you are? How dare you ask this young master to give up his seat to you? Chen Zitao's face instantly turned gloomy. The surrounding people also looked at Ling Xiao in surprise. This youth was really bold. He actually dared to speak to Chen Zitao like that. It had to be known that Chen Zitao was not a kind person. He had bullied many people in the capital. If he was unhappy, he might even break the youth's legs and throw him out. Everyone whispered to each other, and their gazes towards Ling Xiao began to show signs of sympathy. Very good. Chen Zitao sneered and said, this is the first time someone has dared to scold me. Kid, you have guts. Now I've changed my mind. Kneel down and kowtow 100 times. Then, get lost and I'll spare your life. Otherwise. Chen Zitao's voice was gloomy. The threat was self-evident. I'll give you 2 choices. Either kowtow 100 times and get lost, or I'll break all your limbs and throw you out. Ling Xiao looked at Chen Zitao indifferently. He also felt a bit helpless. There were many hedonistic young masters in the capital. This Chen Zitao looked like he was only at the 7th or 8th layer of the spirit transformation realm, but he was so arrogant. Chapter 162. P.S. Muyu came back from overtime today and felt sore all over. She was dizzy and had a bad cold, so this chapter was only written now. Sorry, brothers. Chen Zitao's expression instantly became extremely cold. His eyes flashed with killing intent as he sneered. Very good, this is the first time someone has dared to speak to me like this. I'm very curious. Where does a brat at the 3rd level of the spirit transformation realm like you get the confidence to speak to me like this? Boom! A powerful aura emanated from Chen Zitao's body, and a cold aura locked onto Ling Xiao. Brat, open your eyes a little wider next time. Not everyone is someone you can afford to offend. Chen Zitao's right hand reached out toward Ling Xiao. His fingers emitted a faint silver light that was as sharp as an eagle's claw. Ling Xiao's expression didn't change. He picked up a cup of wine and slowly tasted it. It was as if he didn't care about Chen Zitao's attack at all. Seeing that Chen Zitian's hand was about to reach for Ling Xiao's head, Ling Xiao's eyes revealed a hint of sharpness. He opened his mouth and shot out a white water arrow. Bang! The air trembled slightly, and the water arrow exploded. Chen Zitao felt a pain in his palm, as if he had been bitten by a poisonous snake. His expression changed drastically, and his palm had already turned a little green. Cold true chi. Who the hell are you? Chen Zitao's expression was very ugly and there was a hint of dread in his eyes. Only now did he realize that the youth before him wasn't as simple as he had thought. Ling Xiao faintly smiled and didn't answer him. Instead, he gently sent out a palm that was surrounded by a golden light. In an instant, the golden light shrouded Chen Zitao. The seemingly gentle palm actually exploded with an incomparably ferocious force, like the roar of a mountain or a tsunami. Boom! Chen Zitao let out a miserable scream as his body flew out. He coughed out a mouthful of blood and several of his ribs were broken. In the end, he fell heavily to the ground. This was also because Ling Xiao had held back. Otherwise, with Ling Xiao's strength that was comparable to a vicious beast's, one palm would have been enough to turn Chen Zitao into a bloody mist. When you're being arrogant in the future, open your eyes. Not everyone is someone you can afford to offend. This young master loves to teach you rich second generations a lesson. Now, are you going to roll out of Tai Bai restaurant yourself, or do you want me to throw you out of the window? Ling Xiao stood up and said with a smile. Everyone in the surroundings revealed an incomparably shocked expression. Ling Xiao looked like he was only at the third level of the spirit transformation realm, but he was able to seriously injure Chen Zitao, who was at the 9th level of the spirit transformation realm. This kind of talent and combat strength was simply terrifying. But Chen Zitao's older brother was Chen Fengdao, one of the royal capital's 5 princes. Not only was his talent extraordinary, but his heart of martial arts was also extremely firm. He was known as a madman. Although Chen Fengdao's cultivation wasn't the highest among the 5 young masters, he was definitely the most difficult to deal with. Although Ling Xiao's combat strength was not bad, compared to Chen Fengdao, there was still a huge gap. Wasn't he afraid that Chen Fengdao would come back and settle the score with him? Chen Zitao got up from the ground and coughed violently. His eyes were filled with coldness as he said, "Good boy, I was wrong. Do you dare to leave your name?" Ling Xiao sneered and said, "What? Do you want to threaten me?" Chen Zitao let out a sinister laugh and said, "Boy, you should know that there is always someone better than you. Although I'm not your opponent, there are many people in the royal capital who are stronger than you. This young master will remember today's matter and will definitely repay you in the future. I think you're still not being honest." Ling Xiao faintly smiled and grabbed at Chen Zitao with his palm. A faint golden light spread out and emitted a trace of sharp fluctuation. Chen Zitao's expression changed greatly. This grab contained a terrifying aura that made his scalp tingle. He immediately roared, "Boy, you dare to make a move against me? My brother will definitely not let you go." Boom! Ling Xiao's expression didn't change. His palm came through the air and instantly grabbed Chen Zitao's neck. This scared the 2 maids that Chen Zitao had brought. "Your brother, Chen Fengdao. I really want to fight with him. But now, it seems like you didn't choose to scram. Since that's the case, I'll send you on your way." Ling Xiao smiled faintly. His palm was like steel, squeezing Chen Zitao until his face turned red. There was even a trace of fear in his eyes. Boom! In the next moment, Ling Xiao swung his hand and instantly Chen Zitao's body flew out horizontally. He passed through the window on the 2nd floor and was directly thrown into the lake outside. "Boy, just you wait. I won't let you go." Chen Zitao was soaked in ice water and his entire body shivered. He glared at Ling Xiao with hatred and left behind a vicious sentence before turning around and running away. He had already secretly remembered Ling Xiao's appearance and was determined to teach this boy a lesson. How dare he not take him, the 2nd young master Chen, seriously? He was simply tired of living. Ling Xiao didn't take it to heart. He glanced indifferently at Chen Zitao's 2 maids, causing them to tremble in fear. However, Ling Xiao didn't make things difficult for them and allowed them to leave. The waiter who had been beaten black and blue walked up and smiled bitterly. He lowered his voice and said, "Young Master Ling, you have to be careful in the future. That second young master Chen is famous in the royal capital for seeking revenge for the smallest grievance. You've humiliated him today, so he definitely won't let this matter rest. The waiter was secretly pleased that Ling Xiao had beaten up Chen Zitao, but he didn't dare to show it on his face. No worries. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. He didn't take it to heart that he had beaten up a spoiled brat like Chen Zitao. The surrounding diners all looked at Ling Xiao with different expressions. They were all whispering to each other. Some were sympathetic, some were gloating, and some were indifferent. Ling Xiao didn't care about the gazes of the bystanders. He leisurely finished his Tai Bai drunk and got up to leave. At this moment, the sky was gradually darkening. Tai Bai brothel had already prepared a room for Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao didn't stand on ceremony and directly stayed in Tai Bai brothel. In the room, Ling Xiao sat cross-legged and slowly adjusted his breathing. His entire body's energy had been adjusted to a perfect state. When the moon was high in the sky and the full moon outside the window spilled a clear and cold light, Ling Xiao opened his eyes. Chi! Lightning flashed in the air. Ling Xiao's eyes were dignified and mysterious. There was a golden light flowing in them, but they returned to normal after a moment. Ling Xiao jumped off the bed and retracted his aura. His entire body was like a stone, without any signs of life. Ling Xiao changed into a set of black night clothes and silently slipped out of the window. After finding out the whereabouts of the Wanshou sect during the day, Ling Xiao prepared to investigate at night. Chapter 163. It was already late at night. Ling Xiao leaped from roof to roof, as light as a leopard. He did not make the slightest sound as he sped towards the hostel where the Wanshou sect was located. There was no one on the streets. Ling Xiao passed through a few streets and finally stopped in front of a magnificent building. I wonder if the news of Shi Tianxin's death has come back. If it does, I'll have to act as soon as possible. Ling Xiao's eyes shone brightly as he seemed to blend into the night. The guards of the hostel were a group of true Qi realm soldiers, and even the commander was only at the Dragon Tiger realm. Ling Xiao easily snuck into the hostel. Over there. Ling Xiao's mental strength was extremely strong, and his senses were incomparably sharp. He easily sensed an aura that was as deep as the sea coming from a courtyard in the north. It was far beyond the strength of a grandmaster. The elder protector of the Wanshou sect, He Qing. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed, and he silently snuck over. There seemed to be no one guarding the courtyard where the Wanshou sect was located, but a faint sense of danger emanated from it. Ling Xiao was very sensitive to the fact that there were hidden sentries on an ancient tree behind the courtyard, in a rockery in the middle of the courtyard, and in a dark corner in the southeast. These 3 hidden sentries were all at the Dragon Tiger realm, and they were monitoring the entire courtyard. If an ordinary person dared to rashly enter, they would be discovered in an instant. In that case, the corners of Ling Xiao's mouth twitched slightly, and he disappeared into the darkness again. Following the dark alley outside the courtyard, he silently arrived at the top of the ancient tree behind the courtyard. Ling Xiao fully operated the sky-devouring secret skill. Even a Grandmaster realm expert with Heaven-Man connection would not be able to sense his presence, let alone a mere Dragon Tiger realm disciple of the Wanshou sect. Ling Xiao easily arrived at the ancient tree. Bang! Ling Xiao appeared behind the disciple like a ghost and chopped down on his neck with his palm. The disciple didn't even have time to make a sound as he fainted. Ling Xiao carefully placed him on the ancient tree. Then, he walked along the wall and came to a window that was still lit. Ling Xiao's mental strength was extremely powerful. He had already reached the level of a mid-grade alchemy grandmaster, but he still didn't dare to be careless when facing a celestial realm powerhouse. Warriors of the celestial realm were able to become one with the heavens and earth, becoming one with nature. Moreover, they were beginning to touch upon the secrets of mental power, and their perception was extremely terrifying. Although Ling Xiao's sky-devouring secret skill could conceal his life fluctuations, if he released his mind power, it would be easily detected by celestial realm experts. Therefore, Ling Xiao did not rely on his own spiritual power. Instead, he chose to eavesdrop on the conversation by approaching the house. Through the blurry window, Ling Xiao could vaguely see what was going on inside. Senior brother Snake, junior brother Wuxin hasn't returned yet. Is there any problem? Inside the house, a slender young man in a white robe asked. There shouldn't be any problems. Wu Xian is just a bit too playful. The one with his back facing Ling Xiao was a young man in a black robe. He exuded a faint, dangerous aura, and his face couldn't be seen clearly. Ling Xiao sensed that the young man in the white robe was at level 1 of the Grandmaster realm, while the young man in the black robe was at level 6 of the Grandmaster realm. The young man in the black robe should be Shi Tianluo. Ling Xiao's heart skipped a beat. When he heard them mention Shi Tianxin, he became even more focused. However, we should still send someone to take a look. Yu Lang, send 2 disciples to Qinghua City tomorrow and bring Wuxin back. Shi Tianluo said faintly. There was an inexplicable chill in his voice. Yes, senior brother Snake. Yu Lang nodded respectfully. He then hesitantly glanced at Shi Tianluo and said, Senior brother Shi, we haven't seen any trace of Elder Kun Shi along the way. Could it be that Elder Kun Shi didn't die in the Great Desolation Ancient Kingdom? Impossible. The sect master said that Elder Kunsh died in the Great Barren Ancient Kingdom, so he must have died in the Great Barren Ancient Kingdom. It's just that we haven't discovered it yet. Shi Tianluo looked at Yu Lang and continued, Elder he already has some clues. You guys should use this time to investigate and see if you can find any clues in the royal capital. The incident at the Fearsome Beast Mountain Range should be happening soon. Before that, we must find out the cause of Elder Kunsh's death. I'd like to see who has the guts to kill an elder of the Myriad Beasts sect. Senior brother Snake, don't worry. The so-called geniuses in the royal capital are all trash. Even the so-called 5 young masters of the royal capital are like fireflies to the moon when compared to senior brother Snake. We've decided to find an opportunity to challenge the 5 young masters of the royal capital and crush their prestige. Yu Lang smiled disdainfully. Don't let your guard down. It's said that the little princess, Xia Hongxiu, has also returned this time. Moreover, the person with her is a noble from the Sun Moon Star sect. The people from the underworld have also appeared. The people from the Jade Lake sect and the Underworld sect have also appeared in the Great Barren Ancient Kingdom. It seems like they've discovered something. However, that thing belongs to the Myriad Beasts sect. No one can touch it. Shi Tianluo stood up and emitted a cold aura. He looked domineering and majestic. Oh. The Myriad Beasts sect didn't come to the royal capital just to investigate the cause of Elder Kunsh's death. Ling Xiao's eyes flickered. When he thought of the people from the Jade Lake sect and the Underworld sect appearing in the Fearsome Beast Mountain Range, he felt that a storm was coming. I must inform Ren Tianqing and the others to leave Qinghua City first. Moreover, I must not let the disciples of the Myriad Beasts sect go to Qinghua City. A faint murderous intent surged in Ling Xiao's eyes. If the disciples of the Myriad Beasts sect went to Qinghua City and found out about Shi Wuxin's death, Ren Tianqing and his daughter would be in danger. Ling Xiao listened for a while longer and found that he did not hear any useful information. Then, he slowly left. Before he left, he sensed that Elder He Qing of the Myriad Beasts sect had already entered a meditative state to cultivate in the main room. However, because Ling Xiao's sky-devouring secret skill was too mysterious, He Qing did not discover anything. Before he left, Ling Xiao woke up the disciple he had knocked out on the ancient tree. Look into my eyes. Ling Xiao's eyes flickered as if there was a black vortex surging in them. The moment the disciple woke up, his eyes became lifeless. Ling Xiao's mental strength was extremely powerful. It was very easy for him to deal with a disciple in the Dragon Tiger realm. He used the soul transfer technique to erase the disciple's memory. Then, he slowly disappeared into the darkness. Not long after, the Wan Shou sect disciple shuddered and came to his senses, his eyes filled with confusion. How did I fall asleep just now? The disciple was puzzled. However, after thinking for a long time, he did not find anything wrong and did not pay attention to it. At this moment, Ling Xiao had already rushed to the spiritual medicine pavilion and met with Master Jiao Mu. When dawn broke and the city gates opened, one of Grandmaster Jiao Mu's trusted subordinates quietly left the royal capital and headed towards Qinghua City. Chapter 164. In the morning, the sun shone brightly. 2 disciples of the Wanshou sect walked out of the hostel of the Wanshou sect. They quietly left the hostel and headed out of the imperial city. One of them was at the 8th stage of the Dragon Tiger realm, and the other was at the 1st stage of the Master realm. It was Yu Lang, the one Ling Xiao saw last night. Are we really going to Qinghua City? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. He retracted his aura and followed them unhurriedly. At the same time, he felt lucky. If he hadn't been scouting the Wanshou sect last night, these 2 disciples would have reached Qinghua City. Ling Xiao wouldn't have been exposed, but Ren Tianxing and his daughter would have been in danger. The 2 disciples of the Wanshou sect were walking at a very fast speed, almost without stopping. They left the king's city and started flying towards the Qinghua City. Senior brother Yu, why are we in such a hurry to find Qinghua City? Senior brother Wuxin might be having fun. I'm afraid we're doing a thankless job. The disciple at the 8th stage of the Dragon Tiger realm said with some dissatisfaction. Junior brother Wang, be careful with your words. If junior brother Wuxin finds out, I'm afraid even I can't save you. The imperial city is now a place of trouble, and there are signs of a storm brewing. We can't let junior brother Wuxin do as he pleases. If anything happens to him, think about what senior brother Shi will do. Yu Lang warned with a serious look. Junior brother Wang was so scared that he shrank back when he thought of Shi Wuxin's ferocious past. He had taught many disciples in the sect a lesson. But senior brother Wuxin is already at the master realm. He shouldn't be in any danger in this small Qinghua city, right? Yu Lang looked into the distance and said calmly, even so, we can't let him fool around. We're only 1,000 miles away from Qinghua City. We'll be back in 2 days. Let's hurry up. Both of them displayed their Qinggong movement techniques, as if they were flying, following the vast fields towards the direction of Qinghua City. When they passed through an orchard, they saw a young man in a black robe. He had his back to them and looked very strange. Yu Lang didn't know why, but he felt a sense of danger. Who's there? Yu Lang shouted. He also felt that it was very strange. The youth before him gave him the feeling that he was only at the spirit transformation realm, but he felt uneasy and very dangerous. The people who will send you on your way. The young man said indifferently as he turned around, revealing a delicate and pretty face. It was Ling Xiao. How dare you? Before Yu Lang could say anything, junior martial brother Wang sneered and said, Brat, who are you? I think you must have eaten a bear's heart and leopard's guts to come here and seek death. Yu Lang, on the other hand, was much more cautious. He stared at Ling Xiao solemnly and asked, You and someone else? We don't seem to have any grudges with you. The grudge is huge, but you don't know about it. But you don't need to know anymore. Ling Xiao smiled faintly as a sharp glint appeared in his eyes. He leaped forward and threw out a punch. The fiery glow of his fist enveloped Yu Lang and junior brother Wang. You're courting death. Yu Lang and junior martial brother Wang's faces turned cold as they shouted and charged toward Ling Xiao. Although they didn't know why a strange young man would appear here, a mere spirit transformation realm cultivator dared to attack them. He was simply courting death. Boom! Junior martial brother Wang revealed a sinister smile as he threw out a punch. The innate energy around his body surged, and the figure of a barbaric bear seemed to appear behind him. He cultivated the spiritual bear body tempering technique, and his divine strength was unparalleled. The punch he threw out contained nearly 50,000 kilograms of divine strength. In Junior Marshal Brother Wang's opinion, this arrogant brat would soon be smashed into a pile of meat paste by him. But in the next moment, he realized how wrong he was. Boom! The void trembled slightly as a golden light exploded. Ling Zhao's blood qi was as deep as the sea. Ah! Junior Marshal Brother Wang let out a miserable cry as his arm was instantly shattered. He flew backward and crashed into the ground, unconscious. No one knew if he was dead or alive. You're not at the spirit transformation realm. Yu Lang's expression changed drastically as he looked at Ling Xiao with an extremely fearful gaze. Whoosh! Whoosh! But Ling Zhao's gaze was indifferent, and he didn't answer him. Several invisible energy swords intertwined in the air, containing an incomparably sharp aura. Yu Lang felt his scalp go numb. The young man in front of him was like a ferocious beast cub, erupting with an incomparably terrifying aura. But he didn't know why this young man wanted to kill them. Dying in such a sullen manner was the most depressing thing. Boom! A black battle saber appeared in Yu Lang's hand, and he slashed it across the air. A series of metal clashing sounds rang out as he blocked all the invisible energy swords. But there was still one invisible energy sword that had reached Yu Lang's forehead, and it was about to pierce through his head in the next moment. Get lost! Yu Lang shouted as the innate energy around his body surged like endless waves. A blazing saber light shot out from his eyes and slashed at the invisible energy sword. Fear grew in his heart. This young man was too terrifying, and he was far from being able to defend against him. As long as he could block this attack, he would immediately escape back to the capital. At that time, the Celestial Realm Elder He Qing would make a move. Even if he had to turn the entire capital upside down, he would kill this little bastard. Ecstasy art! Ling Xiao suddenly shouted. His eyes seemed to be filled with a black vortex, and an incomparably powerful mental strength instantly shot into Yu Lang's eyes, causing him to involuntarily appear confused for a moment. But it was this moment of confusion that took his life. Qi! A ray of blood-red light exploded between Yu Lang's eyebrows. The invisible energy sword directly pierced through his forehead, and a violent sword aura erupted. Ha! 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 You! Who are you? Yu Lang felt his life slipping away, and a trace of incomparable fear flashed across his eyes. But he stared at Ling Xiao, not wanting to die in peace like this. He wanted to know who Ling Xiao was, and why he wanted to kill him. Because Shi Wuxin died in my hands. Ling Xiao said indifferently. Yu Lang's pupils suddenly shrank. He wanted to say something, but the light in his eyes disappeared in an instant, and he fell to the ground, dead. A powerhouse of the Grandmaster realm, dead. Ling Xiao took the storage bags of the two Wanshou sect disciples, and then threw out a ball of devouring heaven fire. A five-colored light filled the air, and the two disciples were instantly turned into ashes. Unfortunately, I'm afraid that their status is still too low, and they don't know the real purpose of the Wanshou sect this time. Ling Xiao checked the storage bags. Other than some spiritual stones, spiritual weapons, and medicinal pills, he didn't find any useful information. And the martial arts books of the Wanshou sect, the highest was only a low-grade earth-level martial art, which Ling Xiao didn't care about. I hope Ren Tianqing and the others can leave Qinghua City soon. This is all I can do. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed as he turned and flew towards the capital. Chapter 165. After returning to the capital, Ling Xiao stayed in the Taibai Inn. In the evening, the people sent by Grandmaster Jiao Mu rushed back from Qinghua City and reported to Ling Xiao about the situation there. Ren Tianqing and his daughter have left Qinghua City. Did Ji Feishuan take them away? Ling Zhao's eyes flickered as he felt slightly relieved. Grandmaster Jiao Mu's confidant reported that when he went to Qinghua City, the person in charge of the Skywalker escort agency was old Hu. Ren Tianqing, Ren Qingluo, and Ren Qingyu had already left Qinghua City. It was said that they had been picked up by someone. Therefore, Ling Xiao immediately thought of Ji Feishuan. As the empress of the Great Xian Kingdom, half of her purpose in coming to the Great Barren Ancient Kingdom was to find Ren Tianqing and his daughter. If that was the case, then Ling Xiao had nothing to worry about. The year-end competition is in 2 days. Although I don't care about the title of Demon King, I can't let it fall into the hands of others. Ling Xiao's eyes flickered with a hint of sharpness. For the rest of the time, Ling Xiao stayed in Taibai restaurant and used these 2 days to cultivate. Ling Xiao's current cultivation was at the first level of the Dragon Tiger realm. However, since Ling Xiao had reached the 10th level from the channel opening realm to the true energy realm to the spirit transformation realm, Ling Xiao's first level of the Dragon Tiger realm was comparable to an ordinary martial artist at the 9th level of the Dragon Tiger realm. Moreover, the first level of the heaven-devouring secret technique had reached the perfection of the heaven-devouring spiritual seed, the first level of the ancestral dragon secret technique had reached the perfection of the flood dragon body, and Ling Xiao had also successfully cultivated the first move of the 7 limits devouring divine technique, the 4 elephants sky striking style. In addition to Ling Xiao's experience and knowledge as a supreme, Ling Xiao's true combat strength was at least equivalent to an ordinary martial artist at the 5th or 6th level of the Grandmaster realm. In fact, if Ling Xiao used all his trump cards and went all out, he could even fight an expert at the peak of the 9th level of the Grandmaster realm. If others knew that Ling Xiao, who was only at the first level of the Dragon Tiger realm, had such terrifying combat strength, they would be so shocked that their eyeballs would fall out. However, this was caused by various factors. Ling Xiao's flawless martial Dao foundation and his heaven-defying secret techniques and martial arts allowed him to fight against those at a higher level. However, the Grandmaster realm could only be considered as an average expert. Only when one reached the celestial realm could one be considered a true powerhouse. After reaching the celestial realm, it was not so easy to challenge those of a higher realm. On the path of martial arts, the further one progressed, the greater the disparity. With Ling Xiao's current cultivation, if he wanted to fight with a celestial being, he would have to break through to the Guru realm in a short period of time or successfully cultivate the 2nd level of the 2 secret skills. Only then would it be possible. Warriors of the celestial realm were one with the heavens, and the heart of the heavens reflected their heart. They began to comprehend the profound meaning of martial arts, and with every movement, they possessed unparalleled power. The might of heaven and earth was vast and brilliant. It was not something that an ordinary person could contend against. My current cultivation is still too weak. I need to raise my cultivation as soon as possible. Ling Xiao thought to himself. Even though it had only been half a year since his reincarnation, he had already advanced by leaps and bounds from the meridian opening realm to the Dragon Tiger realm. However, Ling Xiao still felt a sense of urgency in his heart. The great enemy of his previous life, the Supreme True Dragon, had obtained the fate of the Scarlet Dragon God of War. Ling Xiao guessed that he had already broken through the peak of humanity and stepped into the legendary divine realm. In this life, even though martial arts in the 8 Desolation region had declined, the Wanshou sect, as the holy land of martial arts, would definitely have noble realm experts. Ling Xiao could not even deal with a celestial being expert, let alone a noble realm expert. All of this urged him to raise his cultivation as soon as possible. Moreover, martial arts in the 8 Desolation region had declined, and resources were scarce. Ling Xiao's eyes had already turned to the faraway War God continent. That was the core of the entire Crimson Dragon Great Cosmos. The War God continent was a place where thousands of races stood in great numbers, and geniuses competed with each other. That was the true battlefield of the strong. Once the matters in the 8 Desolation region were settled, Ling Xiao would find a way to go to the War God continent. Comparing the 8 Desolation region to the War God continent was like comparing a small pond to a vast ocean. They could not be compared at all. Inside the room, Ling Xiao slowly closed his eyes. Strands of golden light enveloped him, and hundreds of dazzling spiritual crystals floated in the air. They turned into the purest spiritual qi and surged into Ling Xiao's body. Now, Ling Xiao had accumulated too much. Normal spiritual stones could not satisfy his cultivation needs. Only spiritual crystals that contained the essence of spiritual qi could help him break through. Ling Zhao's spiritual energy was so strong that he could do two things at once. As he cultivated, he practiced the sky-devouring secret skill, the ancestral dragon secret skill, and the seven limits divine skill in his mind. These two secret skills and one divine skill could be said to be Ling Zhao's foundation. The sky-devouring secret skill and the ancestral dragon secret skill were not martial arts, but they contained the most fundamental principles of martial arts and the mysteries of heaven and earth. The more Ling Zhao comprehended them, the more he felt that they were all-encompassing and unfathomable. The seven limits divine skill was the crystallization of Ling Zhao's sublimation in his previous life. It was the peerless divine skill that he relied on to dominate the world. It had great killing power, and great supernatural power. As for the other martial arts, even the longevity supreme scripture, Ling Zhao only used it as a reference or as a means to use it. Just like that, as Ling Zhao comprehended them, he became more and more proficient in the two secret skills and the divine skill. 2 days passed in the blink of an eye. When morning came, the golden sun shone through the window. Ling Zhao also slowly opened his eyes. Boom! His eyes were shining with golden light, causing electricity to appear in the air. A vicissitude, ancient, and majestic aura was emitted from Ling Zhao's body. At this moment, Ling Zhao seemed to have transformed into the sky-devouring supreme of his previous life, who dominated the world and dominated the world. Ling Zhao stood up from the bed. His clothes were whiter than snow, and his figure was slender. His long black hair was tied behind his head, making him look carefree and unrestrained. His eyes were brighter than the stars and bathed in golden light. He was like a young divine king, emitting an aura that looked down on the world. Ling Zhao left Taibai restaurant quietly without alerting anyone. He was dressed in white and bathed in the morning sun. His steps were steady as he walked in the direction of the Demon King's residence. The most majestic place in the entire capital city would be the Imperial City in the center. It was the residence of the Great Wilderness King and the descendants of the royal family. The second most majestic place would be the Demon King's residence. The Great Wilderness King and the Demon King had experienced life and death when they were young. The Demon King, Ling Zhen, had even contributed greatly to Xia Huang's ascension to the throne of the Great Wilderness King. Therefore, the Demon King could be said to be extremely favored. The Demon King's residence occupied thousands of acres of land. There were many pavilions, artificial mountains, and trees in the residence. The majestic houses rose from the ground, showing the power of the Demon King's residence in the entire Great Wilderness ancient country. However, 3 years ago, the Demon King's residence began to decline after Ling Zhen suddenly disappeared. Chapter 166. Although the Ling family still had a group of elders to support them, Ling Zhen had no successor. Without a powerful figure to support the demon mansion, it was like a huge piece of fat meat that attracted the attention of countless people. Up until now, Demon King Zhenyao's original command of the world's armies had been reduced to nothing. The external military power was controlled by the great general Chen Weishan. As for the royal guards, they were controlled by the great general Meng Ao. The demon mansion's influence was not as great as it used to be, except for the Demon King's influence and the large amount of rewards from the imperial family. That was why the Ling clan's great elder was so eager to push someone out of the Ling clan to inherit the title of Demon Lord and restore the glory of the Demon Lord manor. Other than selfishness, he wanted his grandson to inherit the Demon King's title. He also wanted to restore the Ling family's glory. Ling Zhao's footsteps were steady and powerful. After passing through a few streets, he gradually became familiar with the surroundings. The demon mansion was right in front of him. Ling Zhao looked at the majestic buildings in front of him with a sharp glint in his eyes. Demon Mansion, I, Ling Zhao, am back. Just as Ling Zhao was heading to the Demon Mansion, in the Wanshou sex hostel. The atmosphere was heavy, and there was a faint murderous intent. Elder He Qing sat in the middle of the hostel with his brows slightly furrowed. The disciples of the Wanshou sect below him were all shocked and angry. In the end, their gazes landed on Shi Tianluo with a hint of reverence in their eyes. Tianluo, is the news accurate? Elder He Qing asked. It can't be wrong. Shi Tianluo exuded a cold aura. His eyes were filled with rage, and strands of cold murderous intent lingered in the air like a blade. What we can be sure of is that Wu Xin died at Ling Zhao's hands. 2 days ago, I sent Senior Yu and Junior Wang to Qinghua City to bring Wu Xin back, but they disappeared without a trace. There's no news of them until now. I suspect that they may have died at Ling Zhao's hands as well. Shi Skyfall's voice was extremely cold and contained a trace of blazing killing intent that made one tremble. 2 days ago, Shi Tianluo sent Yu Lang and Junior Marshal Brother Wang to Qinghua City to bring Shi Wuxin back. However, he didn't expect that the 2 of them wouldn't return. Shi Tianluo was still worried, so he sent 2 more disciples of the Myriad Beasts sect. In the end, they found 2 fish that had escaped the net of the Dragon Tiger escort agency in Qinghua City, and they also learned about Shi Wuxin's death. After hearing the news of his brother's death, Shi Tianluo was about to go crazy. After a few investigations, he finally found out that the person who killed his brother was Ling Xiao. When he thought about how Yu Lang and Junior Marshal Brother Wang disappeared for no reason, Shi Tianluo became even more suspicious. Ling Xiao hadn't kept a low profile in the past few days since his return to the capital. He had been in the limelight at the Elixir Pavilion and the Taibai restaurant, so the Wanshou sect had easily found out that the Ling Xiao who had killed Shi Wuxin was most likely the son of the demon king Ling Zhen, Ling Xiao. This is too unbelievable. It said that Ling Xiao was a good-for-nothing who couldn't cultivate 3 years ago. After the demon king Ling Zhen went missing, he was sent to a small sect. Who would have thought that 3 years later, he would have the battle prowess of a grandmaster? This kid is really good at hiding and scheming. Elder He Qing sighed. He only knew that Ling Xiao had been hiding his strength 3 years ago and had been hiding in a small sect. In 3 years, he had broken through from the channel opening stage to the Grandmaster stage. This talent was simply too terrifying. However, if he only knew that Ling Xiao had only used about half a year to reach his current level, he would probably find it even more unbelievable. However, he must have eaten a bear's heart and a leopard's guts to dare to kill a disciple of our Wanshou sect. He Qing's eyes revealed a trace of coldness. The aura of a celestial realm cultivator was immediately withdrawn, and it emitted a vast might of heaven and earth. Elder, I heard that today is the day of the year-end competition of the Demon King Ling Zhen's residence. I think that Ling Xiao will definitely be there. I'm afraid that he has been hiding for so long so that he can amaze the world with a single brilliant feat. However, since he dared to kill Wu Xian, this day next year will be the anniversary of his death. I will make sure that when he is at his peak, he will be knocked down from the clouds and tortured to death. Shi Tianluo's eyes were cold, and his killing intent was almost tangible. He suddenly clenched his fist, and a black divine light exploded, dark and evil. Alright, let's make a trip to the Demon King Ling Zhen's residence today. I want to see if this kid who dared to kill Wu Xian has eaten a bear's heart and a leopard's guts. He Qing also sneered and made his decision. The Wanshou sect was a holy land of martial arts, above the 4 great ancient countries and many small kingdoms. A disciple of the Wanshou sect had actually died outside. This was definitely something that they could not tolerate. A debt of blood must be repaid with blood. Ling Xiao had killed Shi Wu Xian, so he must be prepared to pay with his life. Imperial City, Imperial City. It was a palace that was wrapped in strange flowers. It looked very grand and imposing, and the words, Vermilion Bird Palace, were written on it. The Vermilion Bird Palace was the palace of the little princess, Xia Hongxiu. It was even more imposing than the palaces of the other princes. Xia Hongxiu was wearing a tight red soft armor that accentuated her perfect figure to the fullest. Her figure was slender, and her thighs were round and firm. Her small waist was small, and her skin was as white as jade. At this moment, her beautiful hair was tied up on top of her head, and her hand was on the long sword at her waist. She looked very valiant and had a different kind of beauty. Are you really going to choose to cancel the engagement today? This is too big of a blow to him. Don't you want to consider a gentler method? Besides, Xia Hongxiu was a girl in white. Her entire body was shrouded in the cold moonlight, and her face could not be seen clearly. However, her entire body emitted an ethereal aura, as if she was a goddess from the moon palace. She had descended to the mortal world, and she did not eat the food of mortals. Senior sister, today is the Ling family's end-of-year competition. Ling Xiao has been in the Changxing sect for the past 3 years. I think he will definitely come back on such an important day. Only if Ling Xiao personally agrees to cancel the engagement will I not have to marry him. With my father's relationship with the Demon Lord, I know that he will definitely not lower himself to cancel the engagement. In a few days, I will be 16 years old. This is my only chance. So even if it will hurt Ling Xiao, I can't care about it. I don't want to marry someone I don't love. Xia Hongxiu said firmly, emphasizing each word. All right. The moon goddess sighed. She also knew that her junior sister was stubborn. Once she decided on something, she would do it. Therefore, she did not stop her. Not long after, Xia Hongxiu and the moon goddess boarded the carriage together. Under the protection of the female warriors of the Vermilion Bird Camp, they left the imperial city and headed towards the Demon Lord's residence. Chapter 167. Very close to the imperial city, there was a magnificent building complex. Several large bluestone streets intersected and finally converged in front of the mansion. The sun shone brightly and the golden light filled the air, illuminating the 4 ancient words, Demon King Mansion. In the center of the Demon King Mansion, there was a huge martial arts arena. The ground was paved with white granite and was incomparably sturdy. Even ordinary spiritual weapons could not leave the slightest mark on it. Around the martial arts arena, there were circles of tall stone steps. At this moment, the stone steps were filled with people, and their eyes were filled with excitement. At the top of the stone steps, there were 5 old men in black robes sitting cross-legged. At this moment, their eyes were slightly closed, as if they were one with the surrounding heaven and earth, exuding an unfathomable aura. They were the 5 elders of the Ling family, and also the 5 most powerful people in the Ling family. Especially the black-robed old man in the center. He had a ruddy face and white hair, and his face was majestic. His cultivation had already reached the peak of the 9th level of the Grand Master realm. He was only 1 step away from entering the realm of unity of heaven and man. He was the Ling family's first elder, Ling Yunxiang. On the left and right sides of Ling Yunxiang were the clan heads and elders of various clans and sects of the capital. I didn't expect that the 9th prince would come to the Ling family's year-end competition. Someone exclaimed when he saw the figure at the top of the stone steps. On the left of Ling Yunxiang sat a young man in a green dragon robe. He was tall and slender, and his face was like jade. There was a faint smile at the corner of his mouth, and his eyes were as bright as the stars. He had a unique temperament and the majesty of a superior, but it did not make people feel afraid. His entire person exuded a temperament that made people feel like they were bathed in the spring breeze. He was the current 9th prince, Xia Yunran. Yes. The Demon King Mansion. Although the Demon King Mansion disappeared 3 years ago, his prestige is still there. Moreover, this time, the king intends to let a descendant of the Ling family inherit the title of Demon King Mansion. This is a sign of the Ling family's revival. No wonder so many people are here. Basically, all the powerful families in the imperial city have sent people to watch the ceremony. That's right. Look, isn't that Grand General Chen Weishan and Grand Commander Meng Ao? I didn't expect this pair to appear at the same time. Everyone whispered to each other, and their eyes were filled with shock. Someone saw the 2 armored figures on the stone steps and recognized them. General Chen Weishan looked to be in his 40s. He had an elegant face and a warm smile on his lips. He wore black battle armor and his eyes shone with wisdom. As for the Grand Commander of the Imperial Army, Meng Ao, he was extremely tall and sturdy. His face was square and his eyes were like a ferocious tiger's. He wore golden chainmail and held a golden crescent blade in his hand. His entire body emitted a ferocious baleful aura. If Chen Weishan was a scholarly general, then Meng Ao would be a war general, a peerless general who could order 1,000,000 soldiers to retreat. The two of them had completely different auras, but they both appeared at the Ling clan's tournament. The reason why everyone was shocked was because Chen Weishan and Meng Ao were originally subordinates of Demon Lord Ling Zhen. However, after Demon Lord Ling Zhen disappeared, Chen Weishan established his own faction and slandered Demon Lord Ling Zhen. Meng Ao was originally loyal to Demon Lord Ling Zhen. Seeing Chen Weishan being so ungrateful, he naturally couldn't tolerate it. He hated Chen Weishan to the core and almost fought with Chen Weishan several times. If it wasn't for the Desolation King's mediation, the two of them would have already walked to the life and death arena. Therefore, in public, the two of them almost never appeared at the same time. Today, Chen Weishan and Meng Ao appeared at the Ling clan's year-end tournament at the same time. Everyone was shocked and felt that the Ling clan's year-end tournament this time was extraordinary. Oh my god, am I seeing things? Could that be the Imperial Advisor's beloved daughter, the only female young master of the Imperial City's 5 young masters, Ling Qingqing? Another person exclaimed, and his eyes lit up. On the stone steps, there was a girl in a green dress. She had a perfect figure that made countless people's blood boil. Her legs were long and slender, and her waist was small and slender. Her breasts were high, and her curves were wrapped in her dress, faintly discernible, causing people to be lost in fanciful thoughts. Her skin was as white as ivory, and she had a small cherry mouth, a fine nose, and large watery eyes. She had a languid temperament, and she was looking around in boredom. Occasionally, a trace of craftiness would flicker in her eyes, making her seem quite intelligent. It's Ling Qingqing, my goddess. I didn't expect her to come too. One of the 2 beauties of the Imperial City is here. If the little princess Xia Hongxiu is here, it would be perfect. Xia Hongxiu. Who knows, maybe your wish will really come true. I heard that Xia Hongxiu wants to cancel her engagement with that big trash Ling Xiao. Today is her best chance. That's right. If she doesn't cancel the engagement, the little princess will turn 16 in a few days. The engagement will take effect, and she will really become that big trash's wife. Hee, the Ling family's competition is such an important day. I wonder where that trash Ling Xiao went. I heard that Ling Xiao was banished to a small sect by the Ling family's great elder. I don't think he will appear in the year-end competition. But if he does appear, then it will be interesting. Everyone's expressions were different, and they were all whispering excitedly. Many of the people who came to the Ling family's year-end competition today were people they would never see on a normal day. Take Ling Qingqing for example. As one of the 2 beauties of the Imperial City, everyone had only heard of her name and had never seen her before. Now that they saw Ling Qingqing, many of the youths' faces turned red, and they were so excited that they almost fainted. Sitting beside Meng Ao was a middle-aged man with an elegant temperament. At this moment, his face revealed a somewhat anxious expression. If Ling Xiao was here, he would be able to recognize that this middle-aged man was the city lord of Longevity City, Lu Xiongfei. Lu Xiongfei, you're not lying to me, are you? Everyone knows about the young master's talent, and even the lord can't do anything about it. Yet you say that he has become a peerless genius? Motherfucker, if you dare to lie to me, I will strip you naked and throw you down. Meng Ao glared at Lu Xiongfei and whispered to him. Old tiger, we are brothers who have gone through life and death together. Why would I lie to you? Don't worry, the young master will not disappoint us. He will definitely shine today and completely take back the title of Demon Lord. Lu Xiongfei's face was covered with a layer of inexplicable radiance as he spoke firmly. All right. But it's already so late, why isn't the young master here yet? The competition is about to end. Meng Ao said in a bored manner. Although the meaning of the Ling family's competition this time was extraordinary, a competition between a group of juniors was really boring in the eyes of the crowd. There weren't any outstanding figures in the younger generation of the Ling family. Meng Ao had no interest in a battle between a group of juniors in the channel opening realm, true energy realm, spirit transformation realm, and even the dragon tiger realm. Chapter 168. Don't worry, if the young master says he will return, he will definitely return. Although Lu Xiongfei was anxious, he was still full of confidence. Hee, old Xiong, I hope what you said is true. That Ling Tianxi is not someone easy to deal with. In terms of talent, he is already at the pinnacle of geniuses. He is not far from Ling Qingqing. I even brought the Huban camp. If Ling Yunxiang dares to harm the young master, I will wring his head off and use it as a chamber pot. Meng Ao chuckled. However, when he saw the black-robed young man in the middle of the martial arts practice field, his eyes revealed a trace of graveness. The black-robed youth had a slender figure and a handsome face. His long black hair flowed freely, giving him an extraordinary aura. His entire body was enveloped by a faint black light, and there was a sharp blade radiance bursting out, giving him a fierce aura, as if he was a peerless divine blade that was about to be unsheathed. He was the Ling family's peerless genius, Ling Tianxi. His cultivation had already reached the peak of the 9th level of the Dragon Tiger realm. His Xiantian energy was as boundless as the sea, and he was accumulating his aura. It was as if he would explode with earth-shattering power the moment he made a move. He was also known as the person most likely to become the 6th young master of the capital, and was also the focus of the Ling family's year-end competition. It had to be said that Ling Tianxi was very handsome. His face was like jade, and his aura was extraordinary. Just by standing there quietly, he made countless girls crazy and infatuated. At this moment, the Ling family's competition was nearing its end. The Ling family's year-end competition was divided into 4 groups: the Channel Opening Realm, the True Energy Realm, the Spirit Transformation Realm, and the Dragon Tiger Realm. The top 5 in each group would be rewarded with spiritual weapons, spiritual pills, and cultivation methods. The rewards this time were especially generous. Finally, the first place in each group could choose to challenge Ling Tianxi. It was said that the champion would not only obtain the Demon Lord Saber, but also the Ling family's only peerless treasure, the Demon Lord Saber. He could also inherit the title of Demon Lord. The King of the Wilderness had already acquiesced. The champion of this year's Ling family competition would be the future Demon Lord. However, many of the Ling family disciples knew their limits. Ling Tianxi was a peerless genius in their hearts, an existence that could not be surpassed. As such, it was almost certain that as long as there were no accidents, the position of the Demon King would belong to Ling Tianxi. The competition between the Meridian Opening Realm, True Energy Realm, and Spirit Transformation Realm groups quickly ended. The first place of each group was very self-aware and gave up on challenging Ling Tianxi. Only the first place of the Dragon Tiger Realm was a young man at the 8th level of the Dragon Tiger Realm. His name was Ling Jian, and he chose to challenge Ling Tianxi in the end. Ling Jian was dressed in black with a long sword on his back. His entire body was emitting a sharp aura, and his eyes were filled with an intense battle intent as he looked at Ling Tianxi. He didn't think that he could defeat Ling Tianxi, but he wanted to test the gap between him and Ling Tianxi. Only by fighting with the strong could he stimulate his potential. Brother Tianxi, please enlighten me. Ling Jian cupped his hands in greeting, an eager look in his eyes. Cousin Ling Jian, go ahead. With a tap of his foot, Ling Tianxi's entire body seemed to be floating in the air. He flew a few hundred feet and landed in front of Ling Jian with a gentle smile on his face. This move of his showed his superb movement technique, and it wasn't much weaker than the average martial scholar. Instantly, it caused many young girls to exclaim in surprise. Although Ling Tianxi also had a saber on his back, he didn't draw it and was prepared to face Ling Jian empty-handed. Everyone's gaze instantly focused on Ling Tianxi. Even the ninth prince, Ling Qingqing, and the rest put away their playful expressions and began to treat this martial arts competition seriously. Ling Tianxi's talent was peerless, and he was known to not lose to the 5 young masters of the capital. However, he rarely fought, and everyone wanted to take this opportunity to see his true strength. Elder Ling, Tianxi lives up to his name, a genius gifted by the heavens. From today onwards, he will be the demon king of our great desolation ancient kingdom. I have to congratulate you in advance. Chen Weishan looked at Ling Yunxiang and said with a smile. Great general is too polite. Tianxi is still lacking compared to the Wind Dao, and he still needs to work hard. However, when Tianxi becomes the demon king in the future, our families will have to interact more. Ling Yunxiang laughed, but he couldn't hide the trace of pride in the corner of his eyes. From today onwards, the demon king's mansion would completely change hands. His grandson would enter the demon king's mansion and become the true master of the demon king's mansion. To Ling Yunxiang, who had been planning for a long time, this could be said to be his wish. Ling Yunxiang had been waiting for this day for too long. He was extremely cautious, as if he was walking on thin ice. He didn't even hesitate to ask the underworld to get rid of Ling Xiao. However, after such a long time, there was still no news from the underworld, which made Ling Yunxiang feel a little uneasy. However, seeing that Ling Tianxi was only a step away from the demon king's position, Ling Yunxiang suppressed that trace of uneasiness. As long as Ling Tianxi inherited the demon king's position, so what if Ling Xiao was still alive? At that time, the outcome would be determined, and it wouldn't be something a piece of trash like him could decide. Elder Ling, congratulations, congratulations. Let's get closer in the future. Elder Ling, congratulations. Our family head has decided to reduce the cost of cooperation with the Ling family by half in the future. Elder Ling, this is just a small token of our appreciation. The leaders of the various families also didn't want to be outdone and surrounded Ling Yunxiang with fawning smiles on their faces. You're too polite. Ling Yunxiang had a perfunctory smile on his face, but his gaze was fixed on the martial arts field. Boom! A powerful aura exploded from Ling Jian's body. Green light filled the air and turned into streaks of blazing green sword radiance. They were extremely sharp, as if they could pierce through everything. Ling Jian slowly pulled out the long sword on his back. Every inch he pulled it out, the sword radiance became brighter. The sky was filled with dazzling sword radiance, as if it covered the sky and the sun. The scene was shocking. This is the green sky returned to one sword. I didn't expect the Ling family to have cultivated this earth-level lower-level martial art to such a level. This sword technique is pretty good. It can even pose a threat to a grandmaster. On the stone steps, someone's eyes lit up as he commented. The green sky returned to one sword was the strongest sword technique that Ling Jian had cultivated. In the previous competitions, many disciples of the Ling family had been defeated by Ling Jian's sword. Boom! When the long sword was completely unsheathed, it instantly shone brightly. It was as bright as the sun, releasing blazing sword radiance. The green sword radiance that filled the sky instantly gathered on the sword and slashed down towards Ling Tianxi. Ling Jian's eyes were filled with fighting spirit. This sword technique could be said to be the peak of Ling Jian's strength. As the sword slashed across the sky, it seemed to have emptied his spirit, causing his face to turn pale instantly. Facing this sword technique, Ling Tianxi's face was still as calm as ever. Chapter 169. Boom! It was as if thunder had exploded in the void. Black divine light surged and shrouded the sky. In the darkness, it was as if there were huge stars rotating slowly. Ling Tianxi's palm turned into a heavenly saber that cut across the universe. It contained a peerless sharpness and boundless murderous intent. This saber seemed to be able to destroy the stars. It pierced through the heavens and earth and contained an ancient and mysterious aura. In front of this saber, Ling Jian's green sky returned to one sword was like a ray of starlight in the vast starry sky. It was so insignificant. Moreover, the peerless murderous intent that was emitted from Ling Tianxi's body made the hearts of many grandmasters palpitate. Boom! The sky full of green sword radiance was shattered. Ling Tianxi's palm hit the long sword. With a crisp crack, this peerless spiritual weapon was shattered. Ling Jian was sent flying for more than 100 feet. He fell heavily on the training ground and spat out a mouthful of blood. His eyes were filled with horror. He knew that Ling Tianxi had shown mercy. Otherwise, that saber would not only have injured him but killed him. When the heavens release the murderous intent, the stars move. This is the triple kill demon vanquishing saber. Ling Yunxiang, how dare you pass the triple kill demon vanquishing saber to Ling Tianxi without permission? Meng Ao's expression changed. His eyes were filled with coldness as he shouted at Ling Yunxiang. What? Ling Tianxi used the triple kill demon vanquishing saber. Everyone shuddered when they heard the name of the triple kill demon blade. Their eyes were filled with shock. The triple kill demon vanquishing saber represented an extremely glorious name. The triple kill demon vanquishing saber was the peerless martial art of the demon vanquishing king Ling Zhen. It contained the power to destroy the heavens and earth. Back then, the demon vanquishing king Ling Zhen killed his way into the depths of the fearsome beast mountain range alone with his saber. He killed countless 6th-order demonic beasts and even a 7th-order demonic beast. A 7th-order demonic beast was comparable to a noble stage human expert. It was also known as a demon king. Its every move had the power to destroy the heavens and earth. When Ling Zhen used the triple kill demon vanquishing saber with his heaven stage cultivation, he was able to kill a demon king. This showed how terrifying this martial art was. When the heavens release the murderous intent, the stars move. When the earth release the murderous intent, dragons and snakes rise. When man release the murderous intent, the heavens and earth. When the heavens and men unite, 10,000 transformations. These were the 4 killing moves as well as the saber art. Commander Meng, what are you talking about? How dare you, Chen Weishan? Meng Ao flew into a rage. He pointed at Chen Weishan and said, the triple kill demon vanquishing saber is a martial art that the prince obtained. It has nothing to do with the Ling family. The prince did not rely on the Ling family for anything. Instead, the Ling family has benefited greatly because of the prince. The prince has said before that only his descendants can learn the triple kill demon vanquishing saber. Others, including the Ling family's side branches, are not allowed to practice it. Ling Yunxiang, I think you have no respect for the prince at all. Aren't you being too serious, Commander Meng? Who the triple kill demon vanquishing saber is an internal matter of the Ling family. It's not our place to ask. That's right. Calm down, Commander Meng. I think Ling Tianxi has cultivated the triple kill demon vanquishing saber to such a level. He will definitely become a demon king in the future. Tiger Meng, watch your mouth. Ling Tianxi is the demon king from today onwards. How dare you disrespect him? When the crowd saw that Ling Tianxi had displayed the triple kill demon vanquishing saber, they were all shocked. Ling Tianxi, who had cultivated the triple kill demon vanquishing saber, and who had not, was completely different in their eyes. The current Ling Tianxi was worthy enough for them to invest in and even flatter him. Meng Ao naturally felt that it was a thankless task. He began to be targeted by the crowd. Meng Ao was not good with words. At this moment, he was so angry that he shouted loudly. Ling Yunxiang glanced at Meng Ao with a sneer and ignored him. He stood up from the stone steps and the aura of the peak of the 9th level of the Supreme Power Realm spread out. Immediately, the noisy martial arts practice field quieted down. Thank you for coming to participate in the year-end competition of the Ling family. This old man is very grateful. After the competition, the champion of the year-end competition of the Ling family has appeared. He is Ling Tianxi. Ling Yunxiang's voice paused for a moment. Everyone looked at the center of the martial arts practice field. The young man in a black robe was faintly in awe. The people of the Ling family cheered in unison. His Majesty has already issued an imperial edict. This year, the champion of the Ling family's year-end competition will inherit the title of Demon Lord and become the new Demon Lord. Therefore, Ling Tianxi is the new Demon Lord. Ling Yunxiang's voice was loud and clear, and his eyes were filled with excitement. Ling Tianxi, who was below, could not help but take a deep breath. A trace of excitement appeared on his calm face. Finally, he was going to ascend the throne of Demon Lord. The title of Demon Lord that he had always dreamed of was within his reach. Old Bear, this is bad. The young master has not appeared until now. The year-end competition is over. What should we do? Meng Ao stared at Lu Xiongfei with an anxious look. I don't know either, Lu Xiongfei smiled bitterly. He was also very anxious. However, his eyes suddenly flashed and he saw a familiar figure from the corner of his eyes. Hee, old tiger, just you wait. There's a good show to watch. The anxiety on Lu Xiongfei's face disappeared, and he instantly became incomparably calm as he chuckled. Just as everyone was cheering, a calm and clear voice suddenly rang out and covered all the cheers. Without my consent, who dares to call themselves the Demon Lord? At the end of the martial arts practice field, white jade stairs extended. A white-robed young man bathed in golden light walked over. His black hair flew in the wind, and his eyes were bright. His entire body exuded a peerless aura. That sentence reverberated in the void, instantly causing everyone to tremble. What? Ling Xiao is back. Everyone's eyes were filled with shock, and their faces were filled with disbelief. They subconsciously stood up and looked at the white-robed young man in the distance. Everyone's eyes were focused on Ling Xiao. At this moment, he was the center of the world. Chapter 170. His white robes were purer than snow, and his black hair fluttered in the wind. That young man's steps were steady and powerful. As he walked over step by step, a golden glow enveloped him, making him look like a young divine king. His gaze was deep and calm, and his entire body exuded a transcendent and otherworldly aura. He appeared tranquil and peaceful, and had a power that made people tremble. He's Ling Xiao. Some people were shocked and found it hard to believe. It was difficult to connect the young man in front of them with that big trash. The young man in front of them was in high spirits. He had a jade-like aura, and his bearing was extraordinary. As he walked over, it was as if the world was moving with him. He was the center of the world. His elegance completely suppressed Ling Tianxi, who was in the middle of the training field. There were even some young girls who were yearning for love. Their cheeks were flushed, and their eyes were filled with extraordinary splendor. It shouldn't be wrong. I've seen Ling Xiao once 3 years ago. I didn't expect him to appear here. There's a good show to watch now. On the stone steps, a family head revealed a surprised expression and smiled slightly. At the top of the stone steps, Ling Yunxiang's expression instantly became incomparably gloomy. His eyes surged with murderous intent, and there was a trace of disbelief. He had already paid a huge price to ask the underworld to get rid of Ling Xiao. Why would this nightmarish brat appear in the Ling family's year-end competition? Could it be that even the underworld couldn't deal with this brat? Ling Yunxiang's heart surged with an inexplicable chill, but he immediately shook his head and chased that thought out of his mind. Impossible. How powerful and terrifying was the underworld? That small sect couldn't withstand the assassination of the underworld. There had never been anyone that the underworld couldn't kill if they wanted to. The 9th prince, Ling Qingqing, Chen Weishan, and the others' curious gazes also fell on Ling Xiao. Young master is really back. If the prince sees this, he'll definitely be very gratified. Meng Ao and Lu Xiongfei looked at each other. Looking at the peerless young man below, their tiger-like eyes were slightly moist, and they seemed to be very excited. Did you guys notice that there's not a single ripple of cultivation on Ling Xiao's body? Someone cried out in surprise, immediately waking up many people. Numerous probing gazes fell on Ling Xiao's body, and then a long sigh could be heard. As expected, there was not the slightest fluctuation of cultivation on Ling Xiao's body. So he's still that trash from back then. Even if he's born with a good appearance, he's still trash. A jealous voice rang out, carrying a kind of indescribable pleasure. When Ling Xiao first arrived, everyone was stunned by his peerless demeanor. Now that they were awake, they immediately felt that Ling Xiao did not have the slightest bit of cultivation. There were only two possibilities for not being able to sense Ling Xiao's cultivation. The first was that Ling Xiao's cultivation was too high, and he was deliberately concealing his cultivation so that no one could sense it. The other possibility was that Ling Xiao really did not have any cultivation at all. Naturally, no one believed that Ling Xiao was able to hide from the detection of so many experts present. Therefore, there was only one possibility. Just like 3 years ago, Ling Xiao was still the useless Ling Xiao. He doesn't even have any cultivation now, so why would he dare to return to the Demon King's mansion? Doesn't he know that even if he comes back, he will only be humiliating himself and won't be able to change anything? He's still young and impetuous after all. Sigh. Back then, I saw the Demon King from afar. What kind of peerless demeanor was that? This Ling Xiao's appearance is very similar to the Demon King, but his cultivation. It seems like he's really coming back to stop Ling Tianxi from becoming the Demon King, but can he stop it? That's not something we need to worry about. The Ling family's internal affairs will be settled by themselves. Hee, this is going to be a good show. Let's see how the Ling family elders will deal with this. On the stone steps, everyone's gaze landed on Ling Xiao. Some were filled with sympathy, some were filled with indifference, and some were filled with schadenfreude. Everyone whispered to each other and finally looked towards Ling Yunxiang and Ling Tianxi, wanting to see how they would deal with this. When Ling Tianxi saw that Ling Xiao's peerless demeanor actually overshadowed his brilliance, a cold glint appeared in his eyes. At this moment, he felt that Ling Xiao had no cultivation at all. His originally nervous body immediately relaxed, and a mocking smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. Ling Xiao, weren't you cultivating in the Changsun sect? Who allowed you to come back without permission? Ling Yunxiang's expression was indifferent as he looked down at Ling Xiao from above. His voice was cold and had a questioning tone. The Ling family's year-end competition. I'm also a member of the Ling family. How can I miss out on the year-end competition? Furthermore, if I didn't come back, wouldn't you have gotten what you wanted? Ling Xiao stood in the middle of the training ground with a faint smile on his lips. His reply was very casual as he looked around, not even looking at Ling Yunxiang. Ling Yunxiang's gaze instantly turned cold. Before he could say anything, Ling Tianxi jumped out and sneered at Ling Xiao, "How dare you? The great elder is asking you a question. Aren't you going to kneel down and answer respectfully? Since you admit that you're a descendant of the Ling family, then you have to abide by the Ling family's rules." Ling Xiao had no cultivation at all, yet he still came to stir up trouble at the crucial moment. After seeing Ling Yunxiang and Ling Tianxi, he didn't show any respect at all. Seeing Ling Xiao's nonchalant attitude, Ling Tianxi felt an inexplicable rage in his heart. Who do you think you are? I'm talking to your old man's old man. Who are you to interrupt? Go to the side and wait. Ling Xiao glanced at Ling Tianxi from the corner of his eyes. Ling Tianxi's face instantly turned cold. A strong pressure pressed down on Ling Xiao, wanting to force Ling Xiao to kneel down. Although Ling Tianxi's cultivation was only at the 9th level of the Dragon Tiger realm, he had already touched upon the mystery of the power of heaven and earth. When the majestic pressure surged over, even a spirit transformation realm expert couldn't help but kneel down. However, Ling Xiao acted as if he didn't feel anything. He still had that indifferent smile on his face. Ling Yunxiang's gaze turned cold as he slowly said, Ling Xiao, you're too presumptuous. After Ling Zhen went missing, the family sent you to the Changsun sect in order to urge you to work hard in your cultivation. We also sent you a large amount of cultivation resources every year. I didn't expect you to be so useless. 3 years have passed, and you still haven't taken a step forward on the path of martial arts. Ling Yunxiang's face revealed a pained expression as he continued, Are you worthy of your father like this? Are you worthy of the family's nurturing? Today is the Ling family's year-end competition. You actually dared to leave the Changsun sect on your own and cause a ruckus at the year-end competition. You're bringing shame to the family. If you still have your father in your heart and the family in your heart, then scram back to the Changsun sect immediately. Ling Yunxiang shook his head, looking as if he expected better from Ling Xiao. His gaze towards Ling Xiao was filled with regret. At the same time, the killing intent in his heart was extremely strong. No matter the reason why the underworld didn't kill Ling Xiao, he had to kill Ling Xiao today. Chapter 171. Ha ha ha, Ling Xiao laughed loudly, his eyes filled with mockery as he said, What a nice way to put it. Ling Yunxiang, ask yourself honestly, did you send me to the longevity sect to urge me to practice martial arts? My father just disappeared 3 years ago, and you couldn't wait to send me away. You even tried to harm me time and time again. If I wasn't lucky, I would have been dead by now. Furthermore, who do you think you are? My father's title should naturally be inherited by me. What right do you have to make the decision for my father? Don't mention the family every day. It only makes me feel disgusted. After all these years. If it wasn't for my father's support, would the Ling family have developed to this stage? The resources you use for your cultivation, the luxuries you consume, the arrogance you rely on, if it wasn't for the 3 words Demon King Zhenyao, what do you count for? All of you know the significance of today's year-end competition, but you hid it from me alone. Ling Yunxiang, didn't you want your grandson to inherit the title of Demon Lord? You schemed, and even hired assassins from the underworld to kill me. If it wasn't for my luck, I'm afraid you would have gotten what you wanted today, right? Unfortunately, I, Ling Xiao, have the protection of the heavens. It's all for the sake of exposing your true colors today. Old dog, what I want to say is that even if I don't care about the title of Demon Lord, it's not something people like you can covet. The title of Demon Lord only belongs to me, Ling Xiao. None of you can take it away. Ling Xiao's eyes were clear as he stared at Ling Yunxiang. His words were as loud as thunder, and his voice was incomparably impassioned. It resounded through the entire martial arts arena. When Ling Yunxiang and Ling Tianxi heard Ling Xiao's words, their faces instantly turned ugly. Especially Ling Tianxi, who was emitting a dark and cold aura. His eyes were filled with killing intent, as though he was going to kill someone in the next moment. What? Did I hit your sore spot and you want to silence me? Ling Xiao looked straight at Ling Tianxi and sneered. When the crowd heard Ling Xiao's words, they were all extremely shocked. Could it be true? If what Ling Xiao said is true, then Ling Yunxiang and Ling Tianxi are really trash. Shoo. Are you tired of living? What does the Ling family's matter have to do with us? Ling Xiao doesn't have any cultivation at all. Even if he exaggerates, it won't change anything. Sigh, the Ling family is too much. Some people showed a trace of sympathy in their eyes, but they only dared to whisper and did not say anything. For some people, they revealed expressions of disbelief. I think Ling Xiao is just spouting nonsense. He said that Ling Yunxiang had sent people from the underworld to assassinate him. Then how could a trash with no cultivation like him appear here alive and well? You must know that hell has never failed to assassinate anyone it wants to assassinate. That's right. Just this loophole alone is enough to make me suspect that what he said just now is most likely false. He's lying. Some people close to Ling Yunxiang sneered, especially Qin Weishan. He even directly said that Ling Yunxiang was lying. Chen Weishan, bullshit. Meng Ao's heart was filled with anger. He pointed at Chen Weishan's nose and scolded, "Back then, His Highness treated you well. It's fine if you don't help young master, but you actually slander him. Chen Weishan, do you really think that I don't dare to kill you? Tiger Meng, Ling Xiao is your young master, not my young master. I'm just stating facts. What are you so agitated for? If you want to fight, then come at me. I want to see how well you've cultivated the great tiger demon halberd." Chen Weishan sneered and said, not to be outdone. On the stone steps, the ninth prince did not speak. He still had a faint smile on his face, as if this matter had nothing to do with him. Ling Qingqing, on the other hand, looked at Ling Xiao in surprise, her beautiful eyes sparkling. Was this still the legendary trash? This kind of bearing, elegance, and courage, other than the fact that he had no cultivation, did not look like the trash that everyone was talking about. Ling Qingqing became more and more interested in Ling Xiao. Ling Yunxiang's eyes were cold, and there was a deep light flickering in them. He stared at Ling Xiao and said coldly, "Ling Xiao, I won't lower myself to your level because you're still young. However, if you dare to slander me again, then don't blame me for serving you according to my family's laws. The champion of the Ling family's competition today is the Great Baron Ancient Kingdom's Demon Lord. This is something that His Highness personally promised. If you have the ability, then go ahead and challenge Tianxi. As long as you can defeat him, the Demon Lord's position is yours. No one can take it away from you. However, if you think that you can take away the Demon Lord's position with just your sharp tongue, then I'm afraid you're really delusional." Ling Tianxi sneered and said, "That's right. Ling Xiao, as long as you can defeat me, I'll give you the Demon Lord's position. If you lose, then you'll be my slave. Do you dare to make a bet with me?" Who knew that Ling Xiao's next sentence would make him fly into a rage? The Demon Lord's position was originally mine. You're using my things to bet with me. Do you have any shame? Ling Xiao said indifferently. He did not take Ling Tianxi seriously at all. "Ling Xiao, if you're a man, then fight with me. I guarantee that I'll let you taste the most painful feeling in the world." Ling Tianxi said word by word. The murderous intent in his eyes seemed to have materialized. Everyone was a little sick of it. What was the point of a 9th-level Dragon Tiger Realm elite challenging an ordinary person? However, everyone knew that no matter what was said, in this world, strength reigned supreme. If one did not have enough strength, then it would be useless to say anything. Just like today's situation. If Demon Lord Ling Zhen was still around and he said that Ling Xiao should inherit the Demon Lord's position, would Ling Yunxiang and Ling Tianxi dare to say no? If Ling Xiao had exceptional talent and could suppress Ling Tianxi, who would dare to take away his Demon Lord's position? In the end, strength was the most important thing. Is that so? Since you want to die so much, then I'll fulfill your wish. Ling Xiao smiled indifferently as if he did not take Ling Tianxi's threat to heart. He just stood in front of Ling Tianxi. His clothes were whiter than snow, and his smile was radiant. He looked at Ling Tianxi as an equal without any fear. "Good, very good." Ling Tianxi's eyes surged with black saber radiance. He exuded a powerful aura that was incomparably sharp as he looked at Ling Xiao. The blazing sharpness shot up to the sky and spread in all directions. It had a feeling that it was going to destroy everything. Ling Xiao actually dared to accept the challenge. This was beyond his expectations, but it also made him extremely excited. If he could kill Ling Xiao in battle, he would just say that he used too much strength. No one would be able to find fault with it. "I've wanted your life for a long time. Since you're so tactful, I'll fulfill your wish." Ling Tianxi's eyes revealed a cruel smile. The aura around him instantly rose to the peak. Chapter 172. No one expected that Ling Xiao would actually accept the challenge. Was he crazy? Without any cultivation, he actually wanted to fight Ling Tianxi. He was simply courting death. However, looking at Ling Zhao's glib tongue, he didn't seem like someone who was courting death. What was he trying to do? Everyone's eyes were filled with shock as they stared at the center of the training field. Interesting. If there's nothing wrong with your brain, then you really have something to rely on. What exactly are you relying on? Qing Qing broke into a smile. She was so beautiful that she could turn all living things upside down. Instantly, some of the young men in the surroundings were mesmerized. Ling Yunxiang started to feel uneasy. Especially when he saw Ling Zhao's calm eyes, the premonition in his heart grew stronger. However, he didn't know where this uneasiness came from. It made him feel like he was going crazy. Everyone in the Ling family naturally stood on Ling Tianxi's side. Especially Ling Zhao's words just now. Not only did he scold Ling Yunxiang and Ling Tianxi, but he also scolded everyone. The Ling family naturally didn't have a good impression of Ling Zhao. Big brother Tianxi, defeat this arrogant kid. Big brother Tianxi can kill Ling Zhao with just a breath. This kid actually dares to challenge big brother Tianxi. He's simply courting death. A piece of trash like him wants to take the Demon King's position. He's dreaming. Kill him. Many of the Ling family members had cold and indifferent looks in their eyes as they mocked and ridiculed. Old Xiong, can the young master really defeat Ling Tianxi? Don't lie to me. I can't feel the young master's cultivation at all. Meng Ao said doubtfully. Lu Xiongfei also felt a little uneasy. However, when he saw Ling Zhao's calm eyes, he instantly calmed down. Old tiger, don't worry. The young master isn't stupid. Since he dares to challenge Ling Tianxi, he must be confident. Let's wait and see. Meng Ao glared at Lu Xiongfei and said, I hope what you said is true. Otherwise, if the young master is really injured by Ling Tianxi, I'll do it even if I have to lose my face. Lu Xiongfei chuckled and didn't say anything else. In the middle of the training field, Ling Zhao and Ling Tianxi faced each other from afar. Sensing the cold aura coming from Ling Tianxi's body, Ling Zhao's eyes flickered with a golden light. The atmosphere instantly became very stifling. For some reason, everyone knew that Ling Zhao had no cultivation at all, but they still felt like a storm was brewing, as if a great battle was about to break out. At this moment, a hurried voice broke the silence of the martial arts practice field. There was even a hint of panic in the voice. Reporting. A housekeeper wearing a black robe ran into the training field and knelt down in front of Ling Yunxiang. Reporting to Great Elder, the little princess has arrived. Ling Yunxiang's expression shook. Then, he revealed an incomparably pleasantly surprised look. He quickly said, quickly invite him in. No, I will personally welcome the little princess. Everyone's eyes revealed a trace of shock. Little Princess Xia Hongxiu actually came as well. Recalling the rumors in the royal capital, everyone's gazes involuntarily landed on Ling Zhao, revealing a strange expression. Could it be that the little princess came back this time to cancel her engagement with Ling Zhao? Elder Ling, there's no need to be so polite. I came uninvited, I hope Elder Ling won't blame me. In the distance, a crimson gold carriage drove over. Two extremely majestic level 5 white tiger beasts pulled the carriage. Vermilion bird camp guards guarded the left and right, appearing very imposing. The crimson curtains emitted a faint glow. A young girl's fragrance wafted over, and a girl wearing crimson armor walked out from the curtains. That girl's figure was very tall and flawless. Especially under the crimson armor, she appeared even more voluptuous. Her skin was as white as jade, and her long black hair was coiled on top of her head with a jade hairpin. Her face was exquisite, with an unconcealable heroic spirit. Her entire person appeared valiant and formidable. Her phoenix eyes revealed a faint glow as she scanned the people in the training field. This old man greets your highness. With Ling Yunxiang as the leader, the Ling family members all bowed deeply towards Xia Hongxiu. The family heads on the stone steps also clasped their hands and bowed. Everyone knew that Xia Hongxiu was the great wilderness king's favorite little princess. Her position was even higher than many of the princes. The ninth prince's eyes also revealed a hint of hidden jealousy, but it disappeared immediately. He walked over with a smile and said to Xia Hongxiu, "Hongxiu, why are you here?" Xia Hongxiu said faintly, "Hongxiu greets ninth brother. It's just that I have some matters to settle with the Ling family, so I had no choice but to come today." Everyone was slightly taken aback, revealing a strange expression. Their gazes instantly fell on Ling Xiao. Xia Hongxiu's gaze swept past Ling Tianxi, and Ling Tianxi's eyes revealed a hint of excitement. He took a step forward, wanting to say something, but Xia Hongxiu didn't stay on him for long and moved away. Ignoring Ling Tianxi's ugly expression, Xia Hongxiu's gaze fell on Ling Xiao, revealing a hint of surprise. This youth was the one who was assassinated by the underworld's assassins at the city gate a few days ago. Why would he appear in the Ling family? Ling Yunxiang's gaze shifted, and he said with a smile, "Your Highness, may I know how the Ling family can be of service to you?" "I'm afraid Elder Ling can't make the decision on this matter." Xia Hongxiu's voice was very calm, and she didn't give Ling Yunxiang any face at all. "I heard that the final champion of the Ling family's year-end competition will inherit the position of Demon King. I want to speak to the new Demon King. Only he can make the decision on this matter." Ling Yunxiang didn't dare to get angry. He could only smile and say, "Your Highness, you came at the right time. The champion of the year-end competition has already been decided. It's my grandson, Ling Tianxi. He will be the future Demon King." "Oh." Xia Hongxiu's gaze fell on Ling Tianxi. Ling Tianxi couldn't help but straighten his back, revealing a smile that he thought was very appropriate. He said, "Your Highness, I was lucky to be the champion of the Ling family's year-end competition. I will soon submit a memorial to the king to inherit the position of Demon King. Your Highness, please tell me if you need anything. I will definitely do it." "Who said that the champion has already been decided? Could it be that you are all blind and deaf? Can't you see that I'm still here?" Ling Zhao's cold laughter rang out, and his face was full of nonchalance. "Who are you?" Xia Hongxiu frowned and glanced at Ling Zhao indifferently. She didn't know why, but she felt that this youth in front of her gave her a very familiar feeling. You're tuning in to the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.